Hello. Sorry for the muted, but I asked, you remember what happened? Oh, okay, so I do remember reading this. Cool, 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 cool. I just want to remember the old man's name. So, like, go ahead and put that in the recap. I was about to say cookout. There we go. Mr. Barnes. Damn. And to seek more. Started. Situationship. Oh my god, it's so fucking hot. Ugh. But for the sake of reading, I decided to go ahead and turn off the fan. Just so you know, there's no audio at all. I went to a situationship with Don Tavis. I started to regret. Could you pin that? Feel like that fire really in my face? If that fire is in my face, I'd be glad. But it's not. You know what's really in my face right now? Hot, heat, sweat. All right. Let's continue this reading. Damn. Ain't this some shit? Tamikia thought to herself, pacing the door in front of Mickey's office. If it was her first day out of shadowing and she already fucked up, Tamikia was well aware she was supposed to follow protocol and fill out all kind of damn forms reporting the incident, but fuck that shit. Ain't no motherfucking way she getting written up or fired from this otherwise easy ass job. Cassie was right when she said the job was a cakewalk. It was. Tamikia thought she would be disgusting tending to old people's personal hygiene and sometimes changing diapers, but after getting those few checks with a little overtime in the mix, Tamikia felt like they could change She could change a dirty diaper in one hand and eat fried chicken in the other. Ew. At the same damn time, she didn't give a fuck. That's funny because I usually say it like that sometimes. The following day, after arriving in town, Tamikia had been introduced to Tremella, and let's just say this. On sight, she knew Tremella was a fraud-ass bitch. The way the hoe was staring her down at her with, staring down at her with those long-ass teeth, looking like she wanted to lick her from the rooter to the tutor. That's some sudden shit, ain't it? And big old Lisa Leslie looking ass wench. What got Tamikia was how they had her cousin Cassie just snowed. Tamikia shouldn't have been surprised. She loved her cousin to death, but she was straight from the burbs, and anything Cassie thought she was hood, she was all over. I'm not gonna lie, I low-key forgot Tamikia was actually put on for a job, so hold on, let me go back a little bit. Nah, there was definitely some pages I skipped. Oh no, I remember this. So yeah, we got to put that in a recap. No, I definitely remember. Or maybe you should, yeah, you can. I don't know if I went for chapter 20 or chapter 21. Because I do remember, yeah, I remember reading this line directly. When you lived in that shitty ass apartment 60, I knew that address too, Von Tavis said, shaking his head at her. Yeah, so I remember that Von Tavis and Cassie had a little spat. But I think I did not go to. But then I do remember Tamikia was going ahead and complaining about the hood rat names of Sharkita and Pranisha. And I do remember Tremella gets a good vibe from you. She's going to play favorites. Well, if you could check, that'd be really wonderful. Oh, sorry. Pass by crash. Oh, it's not done. uh, it's 2 hours. Ah, look at that sleepy guy. The last part you read, she was talking about when she first got pregnant. Got it. Cut her eyes at Mickey's. I know what to do, Mickey. What? Just a little bit. Yo, this is crazy. Or no one coming to between. You know the funny thing is, from other thought, as she fully intended to get to the bottom of her son's attention. Okay, I'm done. I don't want nothing or no one coming between our relationship, Tremella thought, as she fully intended to get to the bottom of her son's attention. And Tremella's growing discomfort at the situation between her and Von Peeves. Tremella turned her nose up, seeing a dumbass like him could be casual when he was pretending to be a damn daddy. Von Tavis' mind, I don't want nothing or no one coming between our relationship, Tremella thought, as she fully... Interesting. That's probably when you read with Tremella talk about when she first got pregnant. It's 3.5. We gotta read that. I think we just have to read back chapter 20. Very sleepy guy. And Tremella got pregnant. Bro, I'm out here losing it. They intended to get to the bottom of her son's attention. On her heel and walking back to the kitchen. 4, please. 4 tacos is crazy, by the way. I'm not a fan of tacos, but even then, 4 tacos is crazy. Then again, it's not like it's a hard offer to really make you. I'm just saying shit. Cassie looked over at him with her palm itching because she wanted to slap his ass so bad. 20 minutes later, they were all sitting on the table eating quietly. Cassie didn't even know what to say to him after, for fear of playing herself again. This was not going to happen. KJ nodded off after Von Tavis was feeding him the ground beef and mashed potatoes. What a fucking combo. I'm just not a fan of mashed potatoes at all, so that's just me saying that. Cassie had prepared for him before they sat down to eat. So what you're feeding me but giving me the... So what? You're feeding me but giving me the silent treatment? Are we beefing or what? Fontavious asked between bites of his taco. Not at all, Cassie replied, her voice dry as hell. I'm just now noticing this, but damn, your place is nice. She found out she was lesbian and nice home for yourself instead of fucking your money off like those birds, Shakita and Pernisha. Why are you so negative, Vontavious? Honestly, if this is all you came over to do after not laying eyes on me for 3 months, just please leave. I notice you're a very negative person. You never have anything nice to say, even about your own mother. I don't want any part of that. For some other reason, obviously, you still record where I live. You just didn't want to be here, so please forget your way over here just as fast again, please. You're over here looking around, nigga. You would have been it hot. Whoa. You would have seen how my place looked 3 months ago if you had taken off before I could even crack my eyes open. Cassie, I just been trying to put your ass on some shit without really taking out what they were. Ooh, without really taking it there with you. Read between the fucking lines and stop being so goddamn gullible and shit. I've been knowing where the fuck you stay. Shit. Damn, girl, you really are good doing this whole CNA job, aren't you? Tamika said, rubbing her hands enviously off the seats of her cousin's
Okay, yeah,
car.
you're right, you're right.
Had never actually asked to do anything different within the company. She was like, how can y'all get mad at when y'all never once asked about what Cassie did?
You have to admit it. It was the truth.
They didn't even want to work in the office. They just big mad for nothing. We set all that petty shit to the side though, and we're all like sisters. Shakita, Pranisha, and a few other ladies. Anyone who thinks so. Those are those crazy ass hood rat names you got going on in the shy. Cassie eyes widen. Evidently the same quit before, but why are you naming your child DeAndre? Hold on. And sometimes those teeth are black. Reaching across to grab her cousin's hand. Tamika grinned back. She was definitely on the move when she called Cassie early today, but despite all that, she reached out because she loved and trusted her cousin. She had been in the bind merely hours ago, and this was ready to leave the past. Yo, no, no, Chris, yo, bruh. Never trusted her cousin. She had been in the bind merely hours ago, and this was ready to leave the past behind. W W elegance right there. Okay, so we'll start. Let's start. Ba-ba-ba-ba. She been sure Von Tavis dad. Yeah, we'll start right there. Okay. As I sweat my ass off. Freaking heat. You had to start taking notes for me? No, it's just like, hey, last time I was drinking. Don't blame me for that. I mean, I guess you can blame me, but I remember part of it, most of it. Yeah. I'm usually never sweating this bad, but I guess I am now. Alright, good reading. She'd been sure Vontae dad would be in agreement with her having an abortion, but he was all in. He'd come up in church and was in love with Tremella. All she wanted to do was get rid of it. But once the nigga ran and told all her family and friends, what could she do? She'd only been having sex with him to feel normal anyway. Now she was stuck with a baby she didn't want, and at the time, it was officially in love with one of her female teammates. It was a horrible period in her life, which was the reason she was so rough on him. Shamila had barely been able to take care for him as a baby, so she let his dad take over until she needed him back. Shamila straightened back up in her seat briefly, sobering herself up. She hated strolling through memory lane. Times had been rough for her back then. Mickey waved his hand. Vontavis is a young nigga. Tabby Tav is probably out here. Tavy Tav. Tavy Tav is probably out here knee deep. Okay, knee deep. And some young type pussy. Why do you think he's supposed to be sitting up under you 24/7? I've been told him he needs to get his own place. Vontavis is on the payroll and makes more than enough money to be living on his own anyway damn way. A man needs his own space. Can't even dig up in the pussy good without his mama listening. That's if you let him bring women in and all. And if you do, I'm sure your ass trying to sniff the pussy faster than Tav is. Calm the fuck down. He's alright, Mickey said, dismissing Tremela's growing discomfort at the situation between her and Vontavis. Tremela turned her nose up. See, a dumbass like him could be casual when he was pretending to be a damn daddy. Vontavis is mine, and I don't want nothing or no one coming between our relationship. Tremela thought as she fully intended to get to the bottom what she had her son's attention. I remember that correctly, okay. We're gonna read this again. Chapter 21. Ain't this some shit? Tamika thought to herself, pacing the door in front of Mickey's office. If it was her first day out of shadowing, and she already fucked up. Tamika was well assured she's supposed to follow protocol and fill out all kind of damn forms reporting the incident, but fuck that shit. Ain't no motherfucking way she was getting written up or fired from this otherwise easy ass job. Cassie was right when she said the job was a cakewalk. It was. Tamika thought she would be disgusting tending to old people's personal hygiene and sometimes changing diapers, but after getting those first few checks with a little overtime in the mix, Tamika felt like she could change a dirty diaper in one hand and eat fried chicken in the other. At the same damn time, she didn't give a fuck. Gotta say that again. The following day, after arriving in town, Tamika had been introduced to Tremella, and let's just say this. On sight, she knew Tremella was a fraud-ass bitch. The way that hoe was staring down at her with those long-ass teeth, looking like she wanted to lick from a rooter to the tutor. Big old Lisa Leslie looking ass wench. What got Tamika was how they had her cousin Cassie just snowed. Tamika shouldn't have been surprised. She loved her cousin to death, but she was straight from the birds, and anything Cassie thought was hood, she was all over. Tamika met Shakita and Pranisha that night too. They were cool, but dumb as hell too. Off top, Tamika felt like Tremella had all these dumb hoes in a damn cult or some shit. But since her cuz had ran it all the way down to her, she played the shit cool. Laughed along, and Tremella's old bull-dagging ass must have fell for it. Shit, she was cool, giving her overtime, and already said that she may have opportunities for Tamika to make extra money so she could really get on her feet. Tamika, of course, was down. Tamika had also planned to stay ready so she wouldn't have to get ready. That little mousy Mexican, who was always at the front desk, was packing up to leave for the day. Tamika was impatient waiting for the lobby for Cassie, but the old man who fell out of bed while she was trying to get him settled before she left for the day was kind of her mind. It wasn't her fault. His legs were shaky as hell, and the transfer belt she had been trained to use slipped down his frail, thin body. Tamika had managed to get him up and in the bed, but it was still fucking with Peg. She didn't want to be known for dropping old people on the floor. They're gonna have to miss me with all that shit, Tamika thought, looking out the front window. She was waiting on Cassie to get off work. They had a little routine in place where they come to the main office in the morning, where Cassie worked as well to drop KJ off since he was in the same vicinity. Tamika would then take the car for the day to go see her clients. Tamika couldn't deny. Tremella had hooked it up so that the floor clients she visited daily were in the area since she was new in town and learning her way around. Tamika truly felt like she was a boss bitch the second she peeled out the parking lot in her cousin's car every day. She couldn't wait to get her own damn car and have a true sense of freedom. That was the first thing on the list of things to get. Transportation. Well, thank you so much for coming by, Tamika heard, followed by a boisterous laugh. The main boss, Mickey, was escorting a white man in a business suit out of his office. Tamika smiled and stood to the side. Mickey's face wasn't all that, but he was more than made up for it with his body. He appeared to be in excellent physical shape, stood about 6 feet 2 inches tall, and the few times she's seen him was always dressed in a flawless designer suit. The cologne that emanated from him as he breathed past her nose wide open had her clit jumping. Damn, I need some dick bad if I'm over here eyeballing old niggas, Tamika thought to herself. She made a conscious decision since she'd been in town to steer clear of men. She had to work on getting her shit together. The situation she just escaped from still had her spooked. Nah, niggas and fucking were last on the list. Her head was content with that decision for now. Her pussy damn sure wasn't. Well, hello there, young lady. How are you? Tamika looked up and Mickey was smiling down at her with straight white teeth, with the exception of the lone gold tooth dangling in his mouth. This old school player nigga right here, Tamika thought. Hello, Tamika said, smiling up brightly at him. Wow. Mickey felt his dick start to come to life as his eyes grazed over the, like, bro, what? Over the young CNA's round backside. He'd been enamored with the latest hire from the second he set eyes on her. Mickey was trying to keep his hand out the candy jar as far as his employees went, but what harm could it be being personable? After all, they stressed a sense of family as one of the core company values. Step into my office, young lady. I've been wanting to speak to you, Mickey said, walking towards his office. Tamiki was a bit taken back. Damn. Please don't tell me they already know old man Arthur falling on a shift. Tamiki walked into the office, her legs shaking so bad she felt like a newborn calf taking his first steps. Have a seat, Mickey said, waving her down the love seat. Waving her toward the love seat in his office. Tamika eased down and folded her legs over one another. Mickey sat down right next to her. So, I hear you coming to Chicago like a bat out of hell from the SIP. Tamika's eyes widened. What the hell does he know about me? She somewhat nervously thought. I sure did. Have you ever been there? She replied coolly, although she was getting anxious as fuck. Of course. Been through a few times. Some of my people live in Alabama. I visited the gambling boats. I used to go there when I needed to get away and slow things down. So are you adjusting to the job? Everyone treating you good? If not, my door is always open. I want to make sure you're happy in every way. Mickey spoke directly to her full double cup DD cup vest. Um, because that's exactly where his eyes were, until they slowly made their way up to his face. Her face. Tamika was looking at the old player with renewed energy. Oh, this nigga wants me happy. Happy, I see. She thought to herself, somewhat scheming. There was no mistaking that the double entendre. It wasn't hard to spot a nigga who wanted to fuck, but this was an old nigga with some change who wanted to lay up. New rules applied. I sure appreciate it. I mean, I have my cousin here, but other than her, she's all I have. I just wanted to get settled down and be happy, avoiding bullshit at all costs. Please excuse my language. I just want to be honest, Tamika said, patting the thick mink lashes adorning her eyes. It was a good thing she had on the cutest pair of scrubs, and even those had a hard time containing all her ass and thighs. Mickey leaned back, licking his lips as their eyes met. I can definitely understand that. Tamika took that opportunity to stand and flex on this old nigga, knowing her wide ass was going to be directly in his line of vision. Pussy print on full display. Mickey, I appreciate you taking the time to check in on me. Not many employers care about what's going on with the people below them, but I can see you're different. I hate to cut this short, but I see the time, and I know my cousin in the lobby wonder where I am. I don't want to keep her waiting or make her late picking up her son, Tamika said, looking down at him. Mickey's eyes were pinned to her round ass. Wait a minute. One of those motherfuckers is not moving. Does this nigga have a one glass eye or some shit? Tamika thought, peering down inconspicuously. Okay, darling, that must be hectic, but do the right thing and make sound decisions, and you're gonna be blessed with a car of your own. Believe that. Oh, I hope so, Tamika said, putting some extra bounce in her walk. She knew her jiggling ass and bow-legged stance had this old one-eyed nigga mesmerized as she walked out of the office. Oh, girl, there you are. I was wondering where you were. What were you doing in Mickey's office? Cassie had asked once she immediately spotted Tamika coming out of Mickey's office. Girl, I was out here waiting for you. He came out and saw me and asked me back just to see how I was liking the job and how was it going for me so far. He's a really nice old man, very respectful, Tamika said as they exited the building. Tamika could feel it in her bones. Things were looking up for her in Chicago. Chapter 22. 3 years later? What the fuck? What a time skip. Three years is crazy. I think the most was like what, a few months or so for the time skip, but now 3 years. Cassie, baby, I can't even put into words how proud of you I am, Franklin Pierce said, looking over his family around the dinner table. Almost 4 years ago, he thought he lost his only child to the street life for good, but God showed up and showed out in his family's life. Little KJ was the light of his life. Franklin had eventually come to see what a blessing his child's unwanted pregnancy has been. KJ was sent to bring them all together. Baby, this meal looks delicious, Mr. Pierce said to his wife. It sure does, Cassie said, chimed in, looking over the spread of tender pot roast, roasted red potatoes, and asparagus. Right. Even KJ had his attention on the food instead of playing around. Now, baby, I looked over all the papers you sent over, and I think you're right on track. You'll get that. You'll have that degree soon, but with your on the job experience at Morningstar, what about you keep going? Nursing is an excellent field to be in, don't get me wrong, but it's hard work. While you're young and still have the energy, why don't you stay in school and get that master's degree? Think long term. Nurse management. Get the education so when you want to be a supervisor, no one can say you don't qualify because you don't have the education. That's what happens, you know. You can have all the experience in the world, but not having that piece of paper can hold you back, he said, stuffing a potato in his mouth. You know what, Daddy? You're right. I've been giving a lot of thought. I'm going to meet with an advisor to see what I can work out. I mean, I wish I could get it done faster and go to school full time. Well, why don't you, Cassie? Mother said. I just have so many responsibilities now, Mom. The car is paid off, but now I have a mortgage. I have a lifestyle now that I want to maintain. So I can't do that with no job. Plus, everyone at Morningstar has been so good to me, Cassie said. It was true. Things could get hectic at times, but she felt like she was a real member of the team at Morningstar. In 3 years, Cassie was basically running the billing department, dealing with Medicaid and private insurance companies. She worked side by side with Tramilla. She loved it. The money and the perks were great. Everyone was doing great. Even a crazy cousin, Tamika, had been doing good. Tamika laid back in the bed trying to catch her damn breath. It'd been 3 years, 3 solid years, and this old one-eyed nigga's dick was still going strong. Mickey rolled over and gave her a sloppy kiss. That pussy good than a motherfucker. We gonna have to talk. About what? Now, Tamika rasped. Now look, I put your ass in Lexus. Had Tremella let you take over the townhouse Cassie moved out of and pull all the furniture up in here, gave you a good lifestyle. Wait a minute now, Mickey, Tamika said, raising up on her elbows, both her heavy breasts exposed. Don't make it seem like I don't go out work every day, too. I don't like the tone you're taking. I work hard. Don't act like you just let me live for free now, nigga, Tamika spat. She was heated. Calm the fuck down, Mickey growled, grabbing her 26-inch reefer head back. Oh, maybe I should read that then. Calm the fuck down. There we go. Tamika cried out in pain. You're forgetting who the fuck you're talking to, bitch. You know damn well those little 8 hours a day you clocking ain't getting you shit. I pay for this pussy, and I got a fucking problem if I think for a second you let another nigga up in the snatch. Now, this is gonna be the last motherfucking time I tell you keep your leg closed. Do you hear me? Mickey said, tightening the grip he had on her hair. Tamika winced in pain. She just got on a fresh sewing yesterday and it was tight as hell. Her scalp felt like it was on fire right now. Tamika reached over to slap Mickey back, praying it would cause him to release the grip he had on her hair. Do that shit again. You know, that just makes my dick hard again. Do it again, Mickey said, laughing. He did ease up on the grip. Who was going around telling her damn business is what she wanted to know. Hell yeah, she fucked other niggas from time to time. What 23-year-old woman... What an interesting text. What 22-year-old woman wants to be laid up with an old nigga 24/7? Plus, Mickey did things for her, yes, but if it was a price. It's not like they were publicly dating each other or that she was his woman. Mickey just wanted to control her. If this old man really thought he was going to hold her hand over her pussy, warding off other niggas, he had another thing coming. Sometimes she wished she never fucked with his ass. Pick me up a steak before I leave out, and some eggs too. You know how I like it, Mickey said, grabbing her remote and relaxing back in the bed. Tamika got up in the shower and rolled her eyes. It wasn't like she could say much about it after all he paid for it, but still, Tamika felt trapped. How the fuck am I gonna get rid of this old nigga and still maintain? Part of her thought about just dealing with the situation as is, but fuck that, it got old going out alone. Mickey seriously expected her to sit in the damn house waiting on time as he would come by. Meanwhile, he was all over town whining and dining hoes. Hell, even Tremella had a set dinner date with him twice a week. What the fuck was that all about? Hell, speaking of Tremella, Tamikia had been trying to entice her fine-ass son and Vontavis for 3 damn years. That fine motherfucker Vontavis wasn't giving no play. Tamikia had pulled out all the stops when she attended Tremela's Academy. She wore the most form-fitting bodycon dress. That's mistake number one. That's mistake number one. If you don't know what a bodycon dress is, we're about to look at one right now. I'm pretty sure you do. Google. I just cooked. Mistake. Mistake. And I'm pretty sure when it okay. But there's a certain build that, like, of course it's supposed to go ahead and promote an hourglass build and shit like that. But at the same time, no, no. I honestly thought it was like the WD the wrestling tights and shit like that bitches wore in the summer now. I only saw like maybe 2 bitches wear some dresses. Bring those back, please. You got me? Anyways. But yes, please do. Sundress season is we're almost done with July, and I saw only 2 sundresses. Come on, man. In the summer, she wore the shortest of shorts, and in the winter, the tightest leggings. Fat ass pussy print on full display. Nothing. Tamika had been demure and overt in the pursuit of the young thug's attention. At this point, she wondered, was he on the down low? Had to be. Let me get in this damn shower and cook this man some food so his ass can go home. Tamika thought, turning on the water. Cassie had laid in the bed watching cartoons with KJ before her mind started to drift. Damn. Was this what her life had to come to? Cartoons and the only man in her life were his son? That was okay to a certain extent, but damn, she'd been single for a few years now. Yeah, she'd been gone on some dates and kicked it with a few of them for months at a time, but they always did something to remind her of Karen in some way. Very demure, very mindful. As she wished. Also, Cassie was coming to find out she really had to watch herself as late. Niggas were trying to come up for real out here. Life was good, and these men out here were being straight homeless sexuals, hobosexuals. They were trying to beat homelessness and every damn thing else. The last thing she wanted in life was a man who thought all he had to do was lay pipe and spend her hard-earned coins. Cassie spied the invitation her father had given her to a fancy gala in 2 weeks. It was an annual black business. Oh, hell no? What's up, bunny? It was the annual Black Business Expo. It highlighted all the burgeoning black-owned companies in Chicago. It was a huge event every year, black tied the whole nine. Her father had even offered to treat her to a new ball gown and day of beauty on him for all the hard work she was doing. Cassie was hesitant at first. She didn't have a date, but maybe she could meet someone worthwhile she attended. The only meal she was taking care of was the one she pushed out. Real talk. Cassie's phone buzzed and she looked at it. Then there was this Negro, Vontavis. Open the garage. I'm outside. Tav. Where's Quan Mills at? Hey. When we up, I'm getting Quan Mills on stream. Clip that. When we up, I'm getting Quan Mills on stream. Yes. And he's gonna go ahead and read one of his newest books, his newest ventures, his new literature works of art to us. Yup, a whole stream of Quan Mills. See, everyone else always getting these rappers and these fucking OnlyFans stars and shit like that. No, I'm getting Quan Mills to the stream. Let's start that. Let's start that as a hashtag. Hippie meets Quan Mills. Let's do that. That shit. They got themselves in a weird place. Cassie didn't know how to describe it. All she knew is that as much as she complained about other men, It was mainly because at the end of the day, they were Von Tavis. Something had to give. You meeting him first? Hell no. Ain't meeting him first before me. Something had to give. Somehow she felt like she had gotten placed in the front zone, but the way she often called him look at her made her feel like there was more. It was so confusing. KJ, Vontavious is here to see you. KJ, yay, KJ yelled, jumping up and running downstairs with her quickly on his heels to open the garage. She pressed the button on the garage and stood there as it raised, and Vontavious pulled his car inside. What's up, y'all? Vontavious said, walking up and picking up KJ up. It was a weird habit that had been going on since KJ was a baby, and he still loved it. They horsed around a little bit before he came into the kitchen to see what Cassie was doing. Vontavious, you sure know how to make your way over here when it's dinner time. I find it rude as hell, especially since you ain't putting it in on my grocery bill, Cassie said through pursed lips. You gonna bust my balls every time you see me, ain't you? And you a damn lie, Vontavious said, pointing to the empty small jar next to the cookie jar. You know damn well I leave you money in that jar. Now, if you choose not to use it for whatever crazy reason is, that's on you. Matter of fact, yeah, you gonna bust my balls? And it's nothing crazy. Everyone says that. I mean, I'm saying everyone, but it's often. Now, I'm always reading these freaky ass books. This is literally the only freaky book I've read it. Yeah, that's why I said not everyone, but it's definitely more of an older term. I put it in KJ's college fund. He's up to $6,000. Vontavious broke into a wide grin. Good girl. Leave me the account number. Cassie just laughed. Vontavious was weird as fuck, but he did break off her off money. Did nice things for her and KJ over the years, holidays, birthdays, even little weird holidays no one even thought of or celebrated. She just didn't understand why he wasn't trying to be her man. After 3 years, Jamila even knew they saw each other, even though she viewed him. You be busting my balls all the time. Alright, we're banning you. More like siblings and considered Vontavious to be like an uncle to Kate. Whoa, what the fuck? Even though she viewed them as more like siblings, weird, and considered Vontavious to be like an uncle to KJ. As far as Cassie was concerned, he was like a father since Karen wasn't on the scene. How long are you staying today? Why? Because I may leave and go get my nails done or something, Cassie said. Today was one of the days she couldn't be around Vontavious and pretended she didn't feel anything more for him than when she did. Hell, the only minutes before bemoaned the fact she was still single after all this time and was making plans to attend an event to hopefully meet someone nice. You got your nails done yesterday, Lion asked. Cassie mouth dropped. How do you know? Well, for one, I do have eyes. For two, you posted that shit on your IG. Cassie was completely shocked. When did you get on the gram? He started laughing. I've been on there the whole time, Vontavious said, trying to open a bag of chips. Cassie, all this time, what does it shock you that I keep up with you? I know what you're up to at all time. Just because I don't do shit when you feel like I should doesn't mean I'm not around. And sometimes I'm doing things for you. You don't even know what I'm doing. You're a free woman. You can do as you please for now. What does that even mean, Vontavious? I'm gonna let you stop doing this to me. You know how I feel. I'm not stopping you from doing anything, Cassie. If you don't want me here on my terms, all you have to do is stop letting me in. Ain't like a nigga is breaking in. What if, Vontavious? I'm going upstairs. KJ already ate, but feel free to give her something in the axe. So damn, you ain't gonna fix us nothing hot to eat? No, Vontavious. If you want a woman to fix your meals, you're gonna need to get you one, Cassie said, leaving the kitchen. She was at her wit's end dealing with Vontavious, and she knew what was keeping him around by allowing him to even come around. She was just keeping it going by allowing him to even come around. Vontavious is just gonna have to see KJ at his house if he really cares about maintaining a relationship with KJ. She thought, stomping up to her bedroom. Vontavious made himself a thick ham and cheese sandwich and walked out to the family room to join KJ. What are we watching, little man? Black Panther, KJ said. Okay then, Vontavious said, leaving back to the sofa and acting like he hasn't already seen the movie at least 50 times. His mind was really on KJ's mama, who was upstairs sprouting in her room with fuck. Cassie just didn't understand all the pressure she was under. No matter how much he tried to get her to see how Tremilla really was, Vontavious was to the point at he left her alone because Cassie went hard for Tremilla, which was exactly how Tremilla wanted all the women at Morningstar to do. She wanted them to worship her, and they did. The only females that didn't fall under Tremilla's spell were ones she intentionally kept at bay because she saw a weakness in them. She, of course, treated all the girls nice, but they weren't all family, calling her auntie. A few fell through the cracks and ended up in the same position as Shanae. Then there was a rare hoe who saw through Tremella. In Von Tavis' mind, the wisest hoe was the bunch where now was Cassie's tramp-ass cousin, Tamikia. Von Tavis couldn't stand her scandalous ass, though. Every time he ran into her, she was in the damn face. He never wanted to be outright rude to her, but he didn't ignore her. Acted like he didn't see her obvious hoe tactics, but that bitch came on hard like she was a dude. Vontavious couldn't really say anything because no one knew about the situation he had going on with Cassie. Yeah, they only had sex once, but it had made a lasting impression on him. But he always saw her more in that, so sex wasn't necessary between them as far as he was concerned. Besides, he had Krishana for that, and truth be told, she was driving him fucking nuts trying to get him commit to her. So he recently cut her up completely the fuck off. She so much stuff just had a nigga stressed the fuck out. 3 years ago, he had all but dropped off the scene. Unbeknownst to anyone, I remembered, he'd gone into a serious depression after killing that old man. Just watching the news every day and looking online to make sure nothing came up or the man's death wasn't being investigated was exhausting as hell. The few times he brought it up to Jamela, she blew him off. Well, that was easy as fuck for her to do. She hadn't killed Mr. Barnes. He had. KJ, stay right there and watch the movie. Oh my god. Okay, daddy. Damn, damn, damn. Daddy's crazy. Kid calling him daddy. KJ like KJ like what, 3? He's like 3 years old now? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's like 3. 4. Most likely 4. Vontavious' heart clenched. KJ had been calling him that lately. He was getting older now and he thought perhaps he was hearing the other kids at daycare talk about having a daddy, so he wanted one too. Vontavious didn't mind it at all, but when Cassie first heard the exchange, she became upset for his son, feeling like she failed as a mother not giving her son a complete family. I'll be right back, Vontavious said, making his way upstairs to check on Cassie. He knew she was beyond frustrated with him, and rightly so. But Vontavious was so close to having everything the way he wanted it to be, so they could finally be together. The last thing he wanted to do was lose faith in him, to give up and find another man who did and said all the things to her, knowing she was waiting for him to say. Cassie was laying on her bed with her Kindle reading. Vontavious peeled off his shirt and walked over to the bed. "What are you doing, Vontavious?" Cassie stammered. "Coming up here to kick it with you for a little while," Vontavious said, taking the Kindle from her hand laying on the nightstand. Vontavious looked at Cassie, tiny shorts, baby tee, hair up in a ponytail and fresh face, a total package to him, and he was growing tired of being without the one female he really wanted. Vontavious just didn't know if he could get her away from his damn mama. Vontavious already knew he wasn't the type of man her parents would go for, and he'd never seen them, or he never even met them. But he knew they weren't going to stand in his way once he really stepped up. The issue was Cassie acted like his mom was her lifeline and she couldn't be without her. The connection between them had only grown stronger in the last 3 years. "Why are you staring at me like that?" Cassie asked. Before she could say another word, Vontavious had crawled on the bed in between her legs. Yeah, that's a real great job to go ahead and try to, like, send the message across that, you want her to be your woman. Just physical carnation. Cassie tried to buck him off of her, but she wasn't moving a solid 230 pounds off of her. After she stopped being mad, her hands did what seemed natural to her and began to caress his muscular back before she started to weep. "Why did you do this to me, Vontavious?" Vontavious lifted his head from the crook of her neck and looked in her eyes. "Stop crying," he said, wiping the tears from her eyes, but they continued to flow. You make me feel so stupid, Vontavious. I don't even know why I even thinking about you," Cassie sobbed. "You think about me for the same reason I think about you 3 years later. Stop acting like you're the only one in this. You know I don't come over here just for KJ," Vontavious said, pressing his lips to her. Cassie tried to weakly resist, but he licked her lips and lightly nipped her lips with his teeth until she gave in and hungrily kissed him back. Cassie could feel the log between his legs growing, and she wanted it inside of her. It had been so long since she had been touched, and even longer since she'd been with the only man she could honestly say she wanted since Charon. Cassie ground her slight hips under him, creating a heat and friction between them. Her pussy grew wetter by the second. Of all the days for him not to have on sweatpants. These jeans have to go. Cassie reached down to unzip his jeans so she could at least wrap her rounds around his fat dick when Von Tavis grabbed her wrist. Now isn't the time, he groaned out. His voice was ragged. Von Tavis wanted to be in Cassie so bad he was almost shaking. Cassie wanted Von Tavis so bad she didn't care anymore. Her pride could go to hell right now. Von Tavis, just be with me, please. I know how you feel, what's between us. I know you do, she begged. Cassie couldn't stand the thought of all these other women having Von Tavis and she couldn't. She had been given the taste of the best dick of her life and only have had it once. Yet he was around her all the time. It just wasn't fair. I do want to be with you, Cassie. I just don't know if you know the real me. Would you still want me? If you knew the real me, would you still want me? Okay. You want who you think I am, and who you want me to be. I was someone who takes me. I want someone who takes me just as I am. Von Tavis said, rolling off of her and onto his back. His heart was thudding, and his dick was harder than Chinese arithmetic. Oh, okay, okay, okay. What's with these metaphors, bro? You won't give me a chance. How are you going to know how I feel about anything if you never tell me? I want the whole cake and you're giving me crumbs, Montavious. You're not giving me anything, but you give me just enough that I'm over here holding out or waiting for you to make this real between us. You bring your ass over here at least 3 times a week, just enough times for me not to want anyone else here. Do right by me or just stop coming over here, Montavious. I can't take this shit no more. We've been playing this game for 3 years. It's fucked up and manipulative. Okay, Cassie. You really want us to be together? Quit that job and let's move. Let's leave the state. Me, you, and KJ. Tell me you go, and I have us out of here in a week, Von Tavis said slowly. Cassie jumped to her knees, looking down at him on the bed. Are you crazy? A little. Why? Cassie was bewildered. First off, even though, of course, you know, this is like more so a positive based thing and shit like that. I have talked to too many women that have told me they essentially just gave up the positive like career choice and shit like that just to be with a man. Stupid. One of the stupidest things you can go ahead and do and shit like that. You know, like because 9 times out of 10, that relationship is not gonna last. It's there for the excitement and shit like that, and nothing else happens for it for the most part. Please don't do that. Don't. Unless you really feel like you have a good backup plan and you feel like this shit is really gonna work out, don't go ahead and just fuck up a bright future for yourself for some temporary dick and or so temporary emotions. It is never gonna be worth it. Let's get back to the book. Cassie was bewildered. These were the type of things that came out of her mouth periodically. It was pure madness to her. You give me nothing to go on, Vontavious, but you want me to leave everything I worked hard to get? I have everything going for me right now, but you want me to walk away from it all to be with you just like that? I'm in school, my family? Tramella? What does Tramella have to do with your life, Cassie? Vontavious shouted. I told you day one to keep your distance from that woman, but you won't listen. Your parents are going to always be there, whether you live on Chicago or somewhere else. All your material shit, I'll replace it. They have good schools all over the country. Tremella's opinion of what you do means nothing. See, I'm telling you what I want and what I need, but you never listen. It all comes down to a woman you met 4 years ago. Tremella is my mama. If I feel the way I do, Cassie, don't you think there's a reason for it? God damn, I've known her all my life. Cassie sat there more confused than ever. Montavious wasn't very forthcoming on a lot of things with her, but one thing that remained consistent with him was his stance on his mother. Maybe he was listening to rumors about Tremella. Cassie was more confused than ever now, but in her heart, she knew she was supposed to be with Vontavious. She wanted them to be a family. They already were, as makeshift as it may be. Cassie's cell phone rang and she grabbed it and saw it was Aretha calling. She quickly sent her to voicemail and dropped the phone. Vontavious' cell phone buzzed in his pocket and he pulled it out. Speaking the devil and she shall appear. It was Tremella. Vontavious held a finger up to his lips to be quiet Cassie as he answered the call, placed it on the speakerphone. Yeah? Nigga, where you at? I got an issue I need you to handle for me ASAP, Tremella ran out the mouth. What's going on? I need you to get on over to the rental and toss Shanae and that little retarded ass sons of her out tonight. I want everything that hoe got in my rental out in the street. Tramilla, that is a woman with a child. I am not about to put her on the street. And why would I anyway? I picked her up her rent check last week. She always paid her rent. I'm not accepting that motherfucking rent from her ass, and I'm gonna say you didn't get shit. I'm already filing papers to get that bitch out. Nigga, why am I explaining myself to you? Do what the fuck I said do. Do what the fuck I said do. Quote. End quote. Tremella screamed. Cassie sat there with her jaw dropped. She knew Tremella could be a bit crass at times, but throwing someone out in the streets for no reason, and rough her ass up too. I wouldn't be opposed to you breaking a bone. Call me when it's done, Tremella spat. Cassie's hand flew to her mouth to contain a gasp. She looked at Vontavis with wide, confused eyes. Vontavis slipped his phone back into his jeans. Cassie, what do you think I do for Morningstar? Cassie rose from the bed, holding her waist. Her stomach was in knots. You beat up woman? I'm so confused right now. Cassie said, shaking her head. This is what the fuck I've been trying to tell you, Cassie. Since the day I laid eyes on you, Tremella can't be trusted. She is not a genuine person, you need to start watching your back. It may not be clear to me right now, but she's using you for something. Cassie stood there, looking. Where's the at? She stood there looking at Vontavis, but there's no at there, so I'm gonna have to add that in. Can you answer my question, Vontavious? Are you going around beating up women, throwing children out on the street? Cassie asked, her voice quavering. I have in the past, but I haven't done anything like that in the last 3 years, Vontavious answered, trying to be as honest as he could be to an extent. It was just some shit you have to take to the grave, and while you were living, pray for forgiveness. Vontavious dropped to his knees the second he opened his eyes in the morning, and before he got into bed at night. Look, I don't have to say this needs to be kept between us. Just knowing the little I told you could get hurt. Cassie, I'm not playing with you. Suddenly, Cassie's eyes turned to distrustful slits, and Vontavis immediately noticed the scowl on his face. Cassie, please don't look at me like that. This is one of the reasons I didn't want to say anything. I just wanted you to open your eyes, look around you. Everything that glitters isn't gold. You shouldn't have needed me to tell you that, baby. Despite everything that has been revealed to her, the small turn of endearment made her heart skip a beat. Cassie knew Vontavis was thuggish. She thought maybe he sold some weed on the side. Wow. What a loser. She noticed on the official Morningstar paperwork his title was Director of Transportation. He even had a little office in the building, but he was never there. Someone else totally ran that department. Morningstar had silver vans in which they used to transport clients to medical appointments and shopping. It was something they either charged the clients for or Medicaid. Cassie had signed off for those expenses 1,000 times. Vontavis stood up and grabbed his shirt. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and go. I know you got a lot on your mind right now, so let me just let you process the shit. Just don't look at me any different, please. I deal with enough that after this on my own. I know I don't say it, but coming here with you and KJ is the only real break I get from my fucked up ass life. I kinda hate I just ruined it, but you're in my face pressing me about how I feel and what I want and talking like I don't care about you when in reality I care about you and KJ more than anyone in the world. If you make me choose, Cassie, I'm gonna pick you over anyone, but you have to be content with the nigga you get, my past and my present. I may not exactly be the man you wanted, but I promise to always love you and KJ. I'll always love you and KJ. I'll always be faithful and loyal to you. Our family will never want for anything. I'll give you my word on that. You'll just have to take me as I am, Vontavis said, his voice raspy. It was mostly uttered about how he felt about her 3 years. Cassie was shocked and humbled by his confession. Cassie rushed over and threw her arms around his waist. Tamika stood at Cassie's front door knocking. Now this hoe knows she called me over here to come watch movies tonight. I'm not waiting in the car either. Tamika thought to herself as her right foot rapidly tapped against the ground. She had called Cassie twice in the last 5 minutes, and Cassie had answered the phone. Of course, she was only here over here because it was Saturday night, and since Mickey was keeping close tabs on her right now, she was laying low. Tamika dug around the purse and pulled out her emergency key. When she was inside, she saw KJ in the family room watching a movie. She leaned down and gave her little cousin a kiss on the cheek. KJ, where's your mama at? She's upstairs. Tamika made her way upstairs. Hold the fuck up. Is that what I think I'm hearing? Oh shit, now I can tell when a bitch getting her back broke. That hoe even tell me she had a little cuddy buddy. Go ahead on, cousin. Tamika was attempted to take a peek at how it all go down. Unlike herself, she knew her cousin was getting broke off with some young beef. Let me stop. She thought to herself Turning around, then she paused. Let me just take a peek. Tamikia tiptoed back towards Cassie's bedroom door and put her hand on the doorknob. Tamikia tittered to herself, holding the stomach curse of matter. Now I'm busting this door wide open. Hey, girl, Tamikia said, throwing the door wide open to find another, and then Vontavis busted her cousin wide open. That's kind of like, why would he even go do that? Like what? Like, why would he do that? That's so like. I wouldn't even say that's ghetto. That's more so like, that's just dumb. What the fuck? Why would you even do that in the first place? Like, what satisfaction did you go ahead and get? Like, oh hey guys, I'm interrupting your sex. Oh, he looks great. You look great. Well, don't mind me. I'm gonna just go back. Why y'all have sex? Exactly. Now, like, now I'm shrimp. Now I'm not even hard no more. I'm like, so you just be letting your cousin go ahead and do this? Is she gonna join it? Okay. Um. Jesus the brother. Jesus the anaconda between his leg was slick as hell as he pulled out a Cassie pussy and turned around. Bitch, get the fuck out of here, he growled, walking towards her, dick swinging. I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I didn't mean to interrupt. Tamika lied, unable to take her eyes off his dick as Vontavis pushed out the door. Tamika stood in the hall in completely shock. Oh, so this is what Cassie's been over here doing with the nigga I wanna fuck. When this nigga leaves, I'm gonna have to get the real tea on what's going on with this. Tamika mumbled to herself as she made her way downstairs and sat with KJ for another 30 minutes before Cassie and Vontavis emerged from upstairs. She watched him come to say goodbye to KJ, and it was clear as hell that KJ was very comfortable with Vontavis. The situation she walked in on today obviously had been going on for a hot minute. I wonder how long, Tamika mused. Cassie walked into the kitchen where Tamika was patiently waiting for every last drop of this piping hot tea. Okay, first of all, give me my extra key back. That was for emergency only, and me not answering my cell phone right away does not constitute as an emergency, especially since you're 2 hours early, Cassie said as she held her hand up for a key. Damn, this bitch, we're gonna take it back? Tamika dug around in the purse and begrudgingly handed over the key. Now, Tamika, this should go without saying. Nah, yeah, I can't blame her. What the fuck? Like, bruh, there's no, like, come on, bruh. Like, you could have just, like, kept it, you could have you could have been curious. And you just, like, slightly turned the door in. Okay. She getting her back broken. It's Vontavis. Okay, cool. You don't go ahead and just slam the door wide open. Facts. Now you're gonna have to go ahead and just sit there. You just have to sit in your fucking car the whole time while you wait for her to open the door. Now, Tamika, this should go without saying. This is my personal business, and what you saw here today goes no further than these walls, okay? Not a word to anyone. This is serious. I don't want anyone in my business, and no one knows about us. There really isn't an us, to be honest with you, Cassie says, sliding down in the chair. And bitch, I'm mad as hell too. This was the second time having sex in 3 years. You gonna bust in my room like that, fucking up the vibe? Cassie said, folding her arms across her chest and cut her eyes at Tamika. Second time in 3 years? She's a damn lie. That dick looked too good. Let me near it. I'm taking a dick all day, every day. Tamika thought. That nigga got full range of my mouth, pussy, and asshole. Tamika looked at Cassie skeptically. Cousin or not, this girl lying. Gotta be. Oh man. Tamika gonna go ahead and fuck everything up because she's thirsty for some dick. This is crazy, bruh. To the cousin that went ahead and changed your entire life and gave you something to work in. Zach gave her a job and like just gave her like access to like the potential opportunities to go ahead and like live her life. And now she's gonna throw it all away because damn, she can't be getting good dick and I'm not getting good dick. Bitches. That's how women be. Chapter 23. The Black Business Expo was tonight, and Cassie was standing on pins and needles, anxious about who she might possibly meet tonight. She'd gone on these events when she was a teenager, but since going through all the drama with Caron, she hadn't been to the expo in years. She was definitely out of the loop with a lot of happenings and her father's business in her circle, and all of the hifalutin, hifalutin, hifalutin. Highfalutin. Pompous or pretentious? You don't want any highfalutin?
Highfalutin.
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 Highfalutin. You don't want any highfalutin jargon. I feel like if you adding highfalutin before jargon, that's like redundant because jargon is literally just like it's already like just using pretentious words and like words that are a part of like anyone's usual vocabulary and shit like that, just to go ahead and make things sound more pompous. So redundancy, crazy. I had to. Oops. There we go. Highfalutin. Highfalutin. Also, no, did they spell it wrong? Nope, nope, no, no. It's spelled correct. Okay, I was just making sure. Like, no way, this thing even spelled this shit wrong. I swear. Uptype bourgeoisies. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. That's one word that was bourgeoisies. Bourgeoisies. Like, I know you're supposed to say the G like twice or so. There we go. But say that again one more time.
Bourgeoisie.
Okay. Say that one more time. Bourgeois.
Bourgeoisie.
Bourgeois. Bourgeois. Uptight bourgeoisies, black folk he hung around, he hung out with on a regular. It seemed like she nervously crossed and uncrossed her leg 100 times in the short time she'd been sitting at the table. Cassie had in fact forced herself to go to the event tonight. It had been 3 weeks since she laid eyes on Vontavis said Tamika since Tamikia had interrupted them. 3 weeks since he'd revealed to her what an unscrupulous person Tremella actually was, and he ghosted her. Again, Cassie was done. How could he just leave her just like that? After everything he said to her, now she was at work, nervous as hell about being anywhere near Tremella, just yet having to fake it for the safety of her and KJ. It dawned on her how tied up Tremella was in her own life. She willingly allowed Tremella to run certain aspects of her daily life. Now she had to be wondering if she pissed Tremella off. Were her and KJ going to be out in the street? She didn't. She just didn't know what to do. Perhaps the Sinead lady actually did something to warrant Tremella's wrath that day. Cassie was at a loss, but now here she was, nervous as hell, and Octavius was nowhere to be found. Hello, would you like to dance? Cassie heard from above her. She looked up absently into a pair of deep-set brown eyes framed with long lashes and an engaging smile. He was a nice-looking guy, and the suit fit him to perfection. Sure, why not? Cassie sat smiling up at him. She'd come out tonight to expand her horizons and meet someone. There was no sense in sitting. Oh, excuse me. At the table all night like a wallflower. I'm Keenan Abrams. You're Cassie Pierce, correct? Cassie was a bit taken aback. The handsome stranger knew her name. Do I know you? She asked hesitantly. No, but I feel like I know you already from hearing your father speak so lovely about you, he said, twirling Cassie around the dance floor. Oh, so you work with my dad? Yeah, just different departments, but he's a big deal. I always thought of him as a mentor. Are you single, Cassie? Straight to the point, I see. Yes, I am, Keenan, Cassie answered, swallowing a lump forming in her throat. Her heart didn't feel single. It was aching for Vontavis, but it was time to set all thoughts of him aside. We spent the remainder of the evening talking, dancing, and drinking champagne. He wasn't Vontavis, but he was a nice distraction, Cassie had to admit. Keenan even introduced Cassie to several of his coworkers. Cassie had to admit it felt nice to be shown off. In 3 years, Vontavis had never even attempted to see her outside of her house. She realized she just met Keenan, but she knew this was what it meant to be a couple and date. Karen wasn't much, but she had to confess even he knew how to at least date. Vontavis came across as a person who was socially awkward. At the end of the evening, Keenan walked her outside to the limo. She come in with her parents, and they exchanged numbers. Cassie wasn't sure if he actually called her, but at least felt good to know that he asked. Monday morning was hectic as usual, but when Cassie got back into the office after lunch, she was smiling from ear to ear. There was a knock on the office door, and in walked Tremella. Oomph. Those are gorgeous, Cassie. No wonder I haven't been able to catch up with you all weekend. Now tell Auntie, who sent you flowers? Tremella asked, nosily bending down to inhale the scent of 2 dozen red roses that had been delivered a few moments ago. They were from Keenan. She just hung up on the phone thanking him for the flowers, and he asked her out to dinner on Friday. She, of course, said yes. After meeting him, she wasn't sure he was actually going to call her, but the following day around noon, he called her, and they chatted for hours. Cassie sighed loudly and pasted a fake grin on her face. Well, I went to the Black Business Expo Saturday night and I met a guy. He's pretty nice. Oh, you must have gave that nigga some of that wet wet to be getting all these damn flowers. Gonna tell you, Auntie. Gonna tell Auntie you fucked him, didn't you? Tremella asked lecherously, leaning forward, licking her lips. Cassie didn't know how she just excused his behavior before, but it was just downright inappropriate. Of course it was. Right, exactly. Actually, my panty stayed on, Auntie. He did ask me out to dinner this Saturday night, though, and I'm going to go. I'm tired of being alone. I'm not going to meet anyone just sitting in my house all the time, she sighed. That is true. It's been a while since we met. I honestly was starting to wonder if he was a lesbian, Tremella said, nonchalantly looking at her nails. Cassie's eyes bugged. Auntie, what would give you the impression I was a lesbian? I mean, not there's not anything wrong with that, but what kind of vibes are you picking up? No disrespect, but your gaydar is all the way off over this way, Cassie said, sucking her teeth. First off, why the hell is she wondering about me, period? That's what really had Cassie fucked up. Tremella's lip curled up devilishly. I mean, I know some women experiment after a painful breakup. I thought you might be one of those types. You have to admit your single period that lasted so long. Now, where's Tamikia's ass at? I wanted to talk to her. I'll talk to her about doing some extra hours. I haven't heard from her today. You know she's hard to keep up with ever since she got that new car, Cassie said, booting up her computer. She had some last-minute invoices that needed to be submitted to the state by the end of the week. Okay, I'll get up with her. Now, you made sure to sign off on everything, right? Those quarterly invoices need to be submitted no later than 4 p.m. Friday. I'm going for a late lunch with a new honey dip I just met, Tremella said, standing up at a full Amazonian height. Is it a man or woman? Cassie asked. Cassie never looked up at the computer. Who said I was gay? Tremella damn near growled. I mean, I haven't heard anything about you dating anyone either, Auntie. So I thought you had a bad breakup and were experimenting. You know, like how you said I might be, Cassie perspired snidely. Touche, niece, touche. Nah, this is a whole nigga, Tremella lied. It was 2018 and she had no idea why she was still hiding her sexuality. Damn, this is 2018? But for some reason, she really didn't like people in the business like that. She was well aware there were rumors about her like a woman, but they were going to stay just like that. Rumors. Tremella wasn't going to Queen Latifah people to death. She wasn't confirming shit. Any hoe bold enough to try and confirm anything was going to catch her hands and a size 12 foot up their ass. Size 12. Remember, she was in the WNBA. Chapter 24. Tamikia pulled up her 2013 Lexus unappreciatively into the parking lot of the liquor store. She just side note, I really, truly, truly, absolutely hate, and I could understand when it comes to actually speaking and people say like the liquor store, but if you actually type that out your way to like, if you do that to type it, if you just like type that shit out that way, you're just becoming extremely performative, and it's like, gang, you're doing too hard. Especially when it comes from non-black people. I fucking despise it. Tabbed up? Yo, thanks for the tab, Rye. Hope you're doing good today, bro. She had just gotten done with her last client of the day and she needed something to sip on to relax her nerves. The last few weeks she had started to hate this damn car. It was in great condition, but for all the pussy and dick sucking she had to do with Mickey in order to get it, why wasn't it the latest model? Oh, here we go. She gets a whole car and now she wants Why is it 2013? Why is it 2018? I deserve a 2018 car, brother. Exactly. Then to add even further insult to it all, a week ago she discovered Mickey had a GPS system installed on this raggedy piece of shit. She creeped over to this nigga's apartment she met at the mall one day named Damon. She wasn't in his apartment 15 minutes before Mickey started blowing her phone up, asking who she knew at the address. She couldn't believe how old niggas were acting this day. When she first got started messing with Mickey, she was sure all she was gonna have to do was let him sniff the pussy 1 to 2 times a week and she'd be good. He'd be good. Nah, this nigga acted had whoa, what the fuck English? Nah, this nigga acted for some dumbass reason why had the stamina of a 21-year-old and had nerve enough to be possessive. When was this nigga just gonna have a damn heart attack and die? Tamikia was also now green with envy towards her cousin. Yeah, there we go. Since discovering she was in fact fucking Tremella's son, Vontavis. Cassie was a goddamn lie. Talk about that was her second time giving that nigga some pussy in 3 years. No, bitch. That's how Cassie would move over the Morning Star, by breaking off old boy some pussy. Why the fuck was she stuck fucking the old one-eyed nigga? It was unfair. I mean, Cassie was pretty in the face, she give her that, but Tamika felt like she had a better body to go along with the face. Not to mention, she felt foolish. She'd been throwing herself shamelessly on Vontavis from day one. The nigga was exhibiting signs of loyalty towards her cousin too, which further fueled her jealousy. Tamika could only imagine how they laughed behind her back. What is with this paranoia? They really do be like that. Tamika's cell phone rang. It really is sad. It's like, you know, right, and like there's never been a time of day like she even cared to the point where like it's crazy. But that's how people think. Honestly, they think like everyone's out to go and get them. You was never that important in my life for me to care about you that greatly. But as people are. Tamika's cell phone rang and she immediately frowned when she saw Tremella's name. What the fuck this Bigfoot has have I want? Hey auntie, how are you? She purred through the line, rolling her eyes. She hoped Tremella wasn't trying to talk too long because she was in a sketchy part of town and didn't just want to sit idle in a lot. Tamika had made it her mission to find a way around Chicago and consider herself damn near expert. She thought Sharkita and Pranisha were dumb as fuck, but they did hook her up with a lot of people. She knew the best spots to get everything done from her hair to her feet. I'm good, boo, but auntie needs you for a huge favor, and you know when auntie needs a favor, I ain't leaving you out in the cold. This is gonna mean plenty of money for both of us. A bitch like Tamika was already sitting up straight in her seat at the word of money. You already know I'm in. What you need? Chapter 24 was 3 pages long. Well, I do parties on the side, right? Back in my heyday, I used to dance. Tamika held her hand over her mouth so a laugh wouldn't escape. Tremella wasn't a bad looking woman, but she was what Tamika liked to call a handsome woman. Who was paying Tremella's Bigfoot ass to hop around and dance? Her feet had to be every bit of a size 14. Did they even make high heels that size? Well, back home, I did a dance a little, but look, auntie, if I do this, I don't want Cassie all in my business, okay? Oh, I already know, baby. Cassie ain't about that life. Have you met Jatori? Jatori? Y'all gonna go together, so I'm gonna text you her number, and don't worry. Jatori? Now that it's confirmed, they about to send me the payment. Y'all come right on in the office in the morning and get this extra change, Shamela crowed. They hung up and Tamika ran inside the liquor store excited to help. She needed this extra money. If Jamela could throw some extra coinage her way, it was good for her in more ways than one. Tamika could get rid of Mickey's cheap ass. He gave her money, but she had to account for every dime. But she was tired. She was tired of fucking with him. Tamika still hadn't figured out how she was gonna do that and still keep her job. Shit, maybe she might meet a baller at one of these parties. Tamika grabbed a pint of Hennessy and a few swishes to get her mind right. But no wine tip Black and Miles. Niggas will be smoking for real. Hey, sometimes you need it for a little pain. Takes the pain, a little pain off. It had been a while since chill, 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 chill. It has been a while since she danced, but shit, it was it was like riding a bike for her. Plus, the thought of shaking her ass for some young dick already had Tamika's twat wet. Twat. Chapter 25. I know, like, it was crazy. Like, this nigga just always just uses every euphemism and every term for dick and pussy, man. Literally, right, exactly. Vontavis slowly sipped on his 7 Up, and bad soda, by the way, and polished off his wings. He was having a quick dinner with his. 7 Up is bad. I ain't gonna lie. I don't think I'm gonna be drinking up 7 Up. He was having a quick dinner with his dad at the airport restaurant before he hopped a flight back to Chicago in 30 minutes. The airport was packed. Everyone seemed to be in a rush to get to their destination, and for once he was among them. For the first time in his life, he felt like he had something good waiting for him. He couldn't wait to get back and see Cassie and KJ. He already knew she was going to be pissed. He'd taken off on her yet again, but this time it was for a very good reason. Man, I don't think you're coming back. Unlike the times before, when he was just trying to distance himself. This time, he was securing a future for them. Son, I hope you know I did try to get you back. I tried to be in your life. I know you did. At first, I did think you just abandoned me with this crazy woman, but the older I got, I saw my mama's way. Plus, I saw all the paperwork she was trying to hide from me. I know you tried to come visit me in Chicago, anything and everything, Vontavis replied, somberly looking. That shit said 8 hours. Don't know, that's not. Into his father's eye that mirrored his own. He'd been in Raleigh, North Carolina the last 3 weeks, ironing out a few minute last details for his family. 3 weeks ago, it had been a mere request that Cassie and KJ leave the state with him. Vontavis aimed to make that a reality. The second classy hoe-ass cousin Tamika walked in on them having sex 3 ways. What? Tamika walked in on them having sex 3 weeks ago. He knew he had to set shit in motion. The way hoes like Tamika moved, he knew it wouldn't be long before she tried to expose him. Yup. If she did, there was no telling what his mom would try to do to Cassie. He had to be ready to move them into safety at a moment's notice. Long ago, Vontavis had stopped trying to have any type of real relationship. Once Tremella got wind he was spending time with a certain woman too long, she immediately found fault with her. One girl even told him Tremella had physically threatened her, and since she had a child, she was not taking any chances of dealing with a crazy baby mama. But a mama, period. That was just one of the many instances, so it wasn't as if he never wanted anyone special. It just wasn't safe for any woman to be too close to him. Dad, I appreciate you taking the time to help me move some things settled here before I make the big move. You know, I'm more than happy to help, Charles Jones said. Damn, nigga had the whole government. Charles Jones said, looking at his strapping young handsome son. There was a hardness in his son's eyes that he didn't quite like. He could tell he'd been through some things in his short life, and guilt was eating him alive that he hadn't been around to help guide his only son. Okay, well, I'm going to head to my gate, Dad. Once again, I appreciate all your help, and I'll be here as soon as I can wrap things up back in Chicago. I'm looking forward to this new start. Well, I can't wait to meet your young lady and your son, Charles said. They said their goodbyes, and Vantavis headed to his gate to board his plane and claim his family. It was after midnight when Vontavis crept in the house. He carried his duffel bag up to his room, and within seconds, his door flew open and Tremella was standing there with a cigarette dangling from his lips. Nigga, where the fuck you been? Now this shit is just getting out of hand. This ain't no goddamn hotel, okay? And I ain't no goddamn child, so what's your point? Tremella's eyes widened as she lunged at him with her arms waved. Vontavis quickly pushed her against the wall, gripped her around the neck, and lifted her up. Tremella was gasping and trying to kick her legs, but it was for naught because she was damn near as tall as me. You know what, Mama? You're gonna have to start keeping your hands to yourself. Do I make myself clear? Vontavis said before he let her go. I can't believe you put your hands on your own mama, Tremella said, rubbing her neck and gasping for air. You only want to be my mama when it's convenient for you. Just pretend I wasn't just your son right now. Vontavis sneered. I just don't understand what's been going on with you, little Whoa, English. I took a sip. Whoa, chill out, chill out. I just don't understand what's been going on with you lately, Vontavis. Ever since that incident with old man Barnes, ain't no one worried about his old ass. Things have been going on good for us years. For years. Vontavis, don't I make sure you have plenty of money? I know you be fucking these little pissy ass hoes around here. You live in a nice house, the cars are paid for. What else could you want? Just tell mama what you need and I can make it happen, but you ain't pulling your weight. Just staying gone like you've been doing. Fontava just looked at her. His mama looked pitiful as hell. Did she really think this was a life worth living? Being her lapdog, killing people, throwing women and children out on the street? Nah, he had enough and he wanted more. You know what? I'm leaving. I was gonna stay here for a few more days, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave tonight. Fontava grabbed another suitcase out of the closet and started throwing shit in. He could have sleep another night under a roof with this lady. Well, your dumbass will be back. When your money is dried up, you'll be back. Big black ass nigga, you dumbass. Do you think you could live on your own without me? I'd like to see you try it. This is gonna be funny as hell. Ain't nobody gonna put with your crazy ass but your mama. You'll see. And this ain't no damn revolving door either, Tremella said, storming out of the room. I could hear her still talking shit. Mickey, Vontavis is over here acting up. Put his damn hands on me and everything. You better talk to his black ass, Vontavis heard her yelling on the phone. He just grabbed what he could and walked out the door. 30 minutes later, he'd been pulling into Cassie's driveway. He called her on a cell phone, but each time he was being sent to a voicemail. Now see, she's acting up. It was your fault, gang. Vontavis started leaning over and reaching into the glove compartment to pull out the extra key he had for Cassie's place. Of course, she didn't know he had it, but like he told her before, whether she was listening to him or not, everything having to do with Cassie he was aware of. Oh, this nigga acting like Joe now. Nigga made the spare key himself. Vontavis jogged up the steps and quickly and quietly let himself inside before something dawned on him. And it was 1 in the morning, but surely Cassie wasn't here with another nigga. He stealthily opened the door to KJ's room and found him knocked out. Then walked down the corridors and opened Cassie's door. Now, if she's sitting up in the bed, why didn't he answer my call? Cassie sat there with her chin to her chest. Get out of here, Vontavis. I can't believe you broke into my house. Give me that key right now. Get the fuck out of here. I don't want to do what you asked, Cassie said, jumping out of bed and rushing towards me like she was. Now it's, I guess the story's in first person now. She was about to beat my ass. Calm the fuck down and get back in the bed. I'm gonna pull up my car in the garage and then we can go to sleep. Monteva said, walking out the room with Cassie on his heels as he bounded to back down the steps. Negro, did you hear me? Did you hear me say get out? Montavis acted like he didn't hear shit she was saying and hit the garage opener. Cassie couldn't believe he thought it was just okay to walk in and out. The past 3 weeks he'd been hell for her. The last time she seen Vontavis, he'd been ordered to throw a woman and child out on the damn street. Had he done that and worse? She had no idea. She had no idea. And then he created all this mistrust in her mind about Tremella that just disappeared. Cassie didn't know if she could trust Tremella now or not. She hated the feeling like she was walking around on eggshells now. Cassie had felt so secure about everything that was going on in life 3 weeks ago. Then Vontavis pulled the rug from underneath her, then left again. Vontavis opened up the car door and grabbed the garage door open. God damn it, he looked back over his shoulder at her smugly before he jumped in his car and pulled in. Cassie was so mad right now she felt like crying. If that happened, there was really going to be a scene because they... Okay, just... Sometimes this book has some oddly thick pages and I feel like I'm not sifting through them correctly, but no, this page is just like extra thick, just like a few others. Rare happens, but it does. But it'd be tears of sadness, but those of pure rage. Vontavious grabbed a duffel bag from the car and tried to walk in the house, but Cassie was blocking the door. Does it not matter to you that I don't want you here? Vontavious paused before pushing past Cassie. I mean, not really. I know you're mad because I've been gone, but I had a good reason. Can we talk about it in the morning, though? I'm sleeping. I missed you guys. Vontavious said, covering his mouth with stifling yawn. I can't stand your ass. Tomorrow, Cassie. I don't want to hear that shit tonight. Vontavious walked back into Cassie's bedroom, walked into the bathroom, and turned on the shower. Cassie stood there sleeping. Where the hell had he been? She climbed back into the bed, and 15 minutes later, Vontavious was walking up with a towel wrapped around his waist. Damn, nigga couldn't go in and just put on some clothes. Nah, yeah, of course, Exactly, yeah. Vontavious was walking out with a towel wrapped around his waist. Cassie was trying not to even look at him for more than a few seconds at a time. She was moving on and looking forward to her date with Keenan this weekend. I do not want his dick no more. I do not want any of that bomb ass dick. Oh boy, yeah. Unfortunately, it looked like you still do. Cassie repeated silently in her head over and over with Cassie with her eyes squeezed shut. Cassie, what the hell is wrong with you? Since when you start talking to yourself? Vontavious asked, looking at Cassie like she officially flipped her motherfucking wig. Her eyes flew open and narrowed as she pinned her stare on him. Look, you bombarded your way in here for tonight. Nah, baby, I'm staying with you until we get out of here. Like I said, you're here for tonight, but you need to take your ass to the guest bedroom. Vontavious sucked his teeth proudly. Cassie, you got me fucked up. What I look like on a twin bed? You really don't want to sleep with me? He had the nerve to ask, sounding confused. Cassie sat there watching him make himself at home in all of her toiletries. He was rubbing her scented shea butter all over his body. His chocolate skin was gleaming. Cassie could feel herself growing wet just looking at him. Get it together, bitch, she thought to herself. No, I do not. Don't just assume you can walk in here after 3 weeks and you can get sex from me. Oh, nah, girl, you really tripping. I'm for real really sleeping right now. No dick for you tonight. Let a nigga get a little rest. I've been ripping and running for the last 3 weeks. Cassie looked at him with her mouth open. The cockiness was unreal. Vontavious glanced over at Cassie and back down to his dick. Baby girl needs it tonight, man. Gone ahead and wake up. Look how testy she is. Alright, that was a sentence. Baby girl needs it tonight. Man, gone ahead and wake up. Look how testy she is. Is that like in the perspective of the dick talking? I don't get that. Or is that her pussy talk? Are their genitals just talking to each other at this point? Is that what's happening right now? I just don't get whose perspective that's supposed to be. You can keep that raggedy ass dick. I don't want it anymore. Cassie, stop playing with me. You know this dick ain't raggedy, Vontavious said, slipping his bare ass between her sheets. I'm serious. I have a date this weekend too, Cassie said. She had hoped he understood the fact that he was just too late this time. Cassie, turn the light off before you really piss me the fuck off. You ain't got shit this weekend. I'm gonna tell you what you have. Your ass got me and KJ this weekend. That's what the fuck you have, period. Vontavious grumbled before he turned his back to her and closed the light. Cassie reluctantly turned off the light and lay down, sighing loudly, pulling the covers up to her chin. How the hell was she supposed to sleep knowing her greatest temptation was only inches away from her? She'd been lying if she said she hadn't missed him. Cassie? What? Cassie replied, only no, that's how I missed you and KJ while I was gone. This time it was Cassie who turned her back. Damn. All he had to do was just say, listen, I really, really want to go ahead and just get you and KJ out of here. So I'm gonna be gone for a little bit. I'm just gonna be handling some business in North Carolina so I can set ourselves up so we can really go ahead and just live together so we can be away from all this. That's all he had to say. Although, I mean, I guess I can understand why he didn't want to go and say it because, you know, Tremella. But then again, Cassie trust of Tremella was already broken, so of course she's not gonna go ahead and blab about his business with her. And also, then she would ask like, "Oh, how do you know about that?" Exactly. So that's all he had to do. Nigga wanted to be mysterious. He didn't want to be mysterious. It just, I can see it's a habit because I have that habit too. Not to the great extent, like, oh, I'm gone for 3 weeks and no content. That's fucking insane. I want to do that. But on small scales, I don't usually say goodbye or anything like that. Because I just feel like it's not necessary. I feel like it's redundant for me to do. Like, I'm going to be here all the time type shit. But I'm learning. I'm working on it. Chapter 26. Aretha was on pins and needles, waiting on Karen to come into the visitation room. The lawyer had called with good news this morning, stating there was a possibility that Karen would be released from jail early with time served for good behavior. Evidently, some of the charges weren't sticking. Thank you, Jesus. My baby had been locked up here long enough. Karen lived to the visitation room, visibly hurt. Aretha jumped to her feet. Baby, what are they doing to you up in here? Aretha yelped, tears leaking from the corners of her eyes. She knew her son was too handsome to be in jail. These gay for the stay niggas love turning out yellow niggas. Gay for the stay. End quote. Mama, just get me out of here. I don't think I could take much more of this, Karen said, his voice cracking. Aretha was scared to ask, but she had to. If Karen wasn't going to come out and tell it, she was just going to let his lawyer know that her baby was being in there getting abused. Aretha leaned forward. Karen, baby, go on tell Mama the truth. Are these niggas here fuck you in the ass? Oh, brother. Oh nah, Mama accident is crazy. Number one, your manhood is ready going to shit if she has to ask that. Number two, you gotta go there. It looks like what the fuck? Literally, yeah. Yeah. It's yeah. Not only demasculated, but like it's just like it's very heartbreaking to go ahead and actually like hear that on both ends. He's not even out yet. Aretha asked, her voice trembling. Not yet, but goddamn, Mama, I'm fighting every day to keep these niggas off me. Some nights I'm looking at a week of damn sleep up in this motherfucker, and please excuse me, because I don't mean to disrespect you but by cussing, but a nigga is tired. I'll be walking around here basically not showering or even wiping my ass good. Ugh. I only shower on the days you come in to visit, Karen said. Aretha could see the black rings around her son's eyes. Lord help her baby. Well, good news. I spoke to the lawyer today. Aretha went on to tell Karen about the latest update from the lawyer and told him to be expecting a visit from him to discuss the details before his next court hearing. In the meantime, baby, I think you need to see about getting solitary confinement. I really do. The last thing we want is you getting caught right before you're able to get out. You know what I mean? Aretha asked with a raised eyebrow. You might be right, Mama. I've been holding off because what do you do? When you do that, these niggas tend to either think you're a sexual offender or snitching. But I don't give a fuck at this point. What Cassie been up to? Have you seen my son? She hasn't taken any of my calls lately. I got no pictures of my son or anything. Don't even speak that bitch name around me, Karen. I hope you find someone else when you get out of this mess. You need a woman that's gonna be ride or die, loyal to the very end. And that little red bitch just went on her life while you've been in here rotting away, suffering. Aretha sobbed. Karen sat there thoughtfully a few seconds before he spoke. Mama, I know you ain't trying to hear this, and there have been times while I've been here I was bitter too, but that's my son's mother, and I can't do nothing but respect her. I wasn't being good and treated her the best when I was free, so why should I expect her to have been riding this time out with me and I got locked up? This nigga actually matured? What the fuck? Holy shit! Self-reflection from Karen is insane! That's something I didn't expect at all. Yeah. Yeah, you know, he's understanding his faults and shit like that instead of just trying to be stubborn and feel like he didn't do no wrong at all. Cassie was going to work, paying the bills. I should have just been a better man. It ain't her job to stay getting treated dirty, I accept that, but any nigga she with when I get out of here better be ready to step aside because I'm coming to get my family back, Karen said confidently. Honestly, he didn't even want Cassie to know when he was getting out. He wasn't even looking his best right now. Some niggas got locked up and seemed to flourish physically. Karen, on the other hand, had lost weight. He couldn't even stomach the nasty food they served in here. He didn't know how these niggas were, could stand to eat the slop. Even surviving off the limited amount of food he was able to buy in commissary. He couldn't wait to get out of here and back to normal. Damn, bro. Usually when you get to jail, you start getting spoiled and shit like that. Like, come on, man. You had the opportunity for a long time. It's been 3 years. Come on, bro. You should have been hockey. Hey, whatever. Food is food, nigga. Deal with it. Tamikia breezed into the Morningstar office on Cloud 9. Last night had been the easiest $1,000 she ever made, and she got dicked down too. Hell nah, I gotta stop fucking with Mickey ass. Nigga has always got me laid up fucking to the Commodores or OJs and shit. I mean, that was okay for an old nigga, but the last night she got her pussy ate out by the smooth sounds of Tekashi 6ix9ine. Oh my god.
Kinda set the mood.
Bro, this is terrible, bro. And now they got this song lyrics too. What song is this again? Pussy got that wet wet, got that drip drip, got that super soaker, hit that she a Fifi, her name Kiki, she eat my dick like it's a free free. This is pretty sure this is Kiki. Pretty sure I wouldn't lie. God damn, that nigga Simon? Shimon's tongue was long as fuck. Tamika had rolled that nigga's tongue to the beat of the song until she creamed all in his mouth. By the time she was done, the nigga face looked like a hot glazed Krispy Kreme donut. Matter of fact, she planned on swooping by his place for another quick dick down before she went to her next client's house. But she wanted to swing by office first and grab her coins from Tramella. Tamika walked inside the building and waved to Maria at the desk before walking down the hall to Tramella's office. She wanted to get in and out. The last thing she wanted to was for Mickey to see her and hold her up talking and trying to fuck when she was trying to get over to see Shimon. Tamika slightly rapped on the door. Come in, Tramella called out. Hey, Auntie. Tamika cringed aside every time she said that shit. But hey, if it made the old bull dagger feel good about herself, oh well. Hey, bull, I heard good things about last night. Do you think it went okay? Of course. I mean, a few niggas tried to be a little touchy-feely, but old boy looked out for us. Who is this? Who is this, Julio? Tamika asked. Tremella sucked her teeth loudly and tooted her lips. Now, niece, you know damn well I ain't sending my girls into the wolves' den with no protection. Julio is a part of the team. He's packing it too in case any of the animals get too rowdy. I take care of the family. Alright now, I love it, Auntie. Well, I just came to grab my money before I go to Miss Franklin's house. Tremella pulled open a drawer and grabbed a white envelope and passed it over to me, smiling. Poetic reading. Her gold tooth was gleaming. I grabbed it excitedly and counted it out. $600. What the fuck was this? I'd done the same amount of time in clubs back home and walked out with a little light 1K. This was chump change. Tremella, I don't mean to sound rude or ungrateful, but what is this $600? The party had at least 60 niggas and the only chicks dancing with me and Jatori. Tamika said, asked, my eyebrows raised. This change between the first person and third person is really fucking me up. Well, I can't tell at all. Well, I can't tell. You sound ungrateful as hell to me right now, Chamella said through pressed lips. If you were going to trip about the amount you were going to get paid from the job to make it, you should have asked how much the pay was before you went. I would have gladly told you. Shit, if it was 60 niggas in the room and you did a walk out with 1,000 or more on your own, who fault is that? You should have cashed out with every last one of those motherfuckers. But right now, you sound like you're trying to accuse me of something. Chamella ground out the ground. They meant to growl. Growled out through narrowed eyes. Tamika exhaled slowly. The last thing she wanted to do was problem with this big bitch. This would be the last time she got over like this and her on her again. You're right, Auntie. I know I am. Okay, let me go. Let me get to Mrs. Franklin's house. I'll talk to you later, Tamika said, giving a grin. She even showed a few teeth, just so Tremella didn't think she was trying to be funny. Tamika walked out of her office fuming though. Now, if, and I do mean if Jatori and her got paid the same amount, exactly how much Tremella did Tremella make off of them? That's what the fuck she wanted to know. This was some quick, easy money, but shit, Tamika wasn't trying to have no damn pimp. She could trick her damn self. Shoot, these days, everyone needed a little side hustle. Tremella had just planted the seed, and she was damn sure about to make it sure it grew. Tamika pulled up Shimon's number in my phone. In my phone? Huh? It's so hot. What's up, girl? Where you at? Shimon asked sexily. Damn, nigga, I heard your voice right now. My pussy got a heartbeat, she purred. Well, hurry up and get your fine ass over here. Give me 10 minutes, Tamika said, hanging up the phone. Chapter 27. That's it. I think there was like maybe 32, 33? Yep, there's 33 chapters. Honestly, depending how long these last few episodes are, we might finish today. Maybe we might just finish today. Cassie walked back into the house and dropped the keys on the table. She had just come back in from dropping KJ off at the daycare and had run into her office to grab several stack of files she needed to work on from home today. She couldn't lose time working, but she really wanted to be here just so she could talk to Vontavis about getting the hell out of her house. She needed to express to him exactly how serious she was about him leaving her alone. Last night had been torture for her. She hadn't got a week of sleep. Hell, that when at one point Vontavis pulled into the spoon position and rendered her immobile for the rest of the night. Good morning, Vontavis said, bounding down the steps and walking straight into the kitchen and opened the fridge. Are you hungry, Cassie? He asked. If you're cooking, I am. You distracted me all night, so I'm working from home today. I didn't get any sleep. Really? I slept good as hell. I didn't even get to say bye to KJ this morning. You should have woke me up. Is that your work laptop? Vontavis asked. Yeah, why? No reason, just asked it, Vontavis asked. There was no reason to get Cassie paranoid, ass all nosy, and into what he was doing. All she would do was ask him a million questions that she didn't understand. And his patience right now was everything he was trying to do. With everything he was trying to do was paper thin. Cassie walked into the kitchen and watched him whip them up a quick, delicious meal. They sat at the table silently eating before Cassie finally spoke. Vontavis, where have you been these last few weeks? I was in North Carolina. My dad is down there. I needed to take care of some business. So how long do you plan on being mad at me for this time? I'm not going to be mad at you at all. I just don't want you, period. You're not the type of man a woman can settle down with. At first, I used to think maybe it was just me. I honestly think you're probably like those to every woman you meet. I don't think you have it in you to do much more than fuck. And I need way more than that. So does my son. So I lay there all night deciding that there was no sense in being mad. You can't have expectations from people who just don't have it in them to know how to treat people right. Vontavis sat there feeling stuck. It wasn't the first time he heard a woman tell him something along the line, but this was the first time it was coming from someone he actually did care about. Cassie was so far off base in her assessment of him, it was laughable. But he wasn't in the mood to laugh. He wanted to cry. If he was the crying type, which he wasn't. If she knew all the shit he was preparing to do just to keep her and KJ safe, to start a family with her without having to look behind their backs all the time. So that's how you feel about me, Cassie? I just ain't shit, huh? You said it, not me, KJ. Not me. KJ loves you. But you don't? Vontavis asked his eyes meeting Cassie's. She quickly looked away. I learned a long time ago, it doesn't make sense to tell people how you really feel. Most niggas don't care anyway. They're only acting so they know just how far they can manipulate you and play games. When are you leaving, Vontavis? You can stay again tonight to spend time with KJ, but then you have to leave. Being around you isn't healthy for me, Cassie said firmly. She had to put her foot down with Vontavis once and for all. Cassie stood up, cleared the table, and headed upstairs to take a shower. The way Vontavis was staring at her was unnerving to her. She didn't like the fact that he always seemed closed off and secretive. Cassie climbed the steps, wondering if she had been too harsh on Vontavis. He'd been around KJ since he was a baby, and now he was 3 years old. Though she could never totally depend on him, he was always showing her he was around. He always did nice things for her and KJ. They were like an unofficial secret family. Why though? She was tired of pretending and waited for him to want more. If left up to Vontavis, they would continue on this way. Cassie didn't want to spend her whole 20s chasing a man who was never going to be hers. Honestly, she felt like she was putting up with way more mentally than Vontavis than she ever had with Karen, and they had a child together. Cassie walked into the bathroom and turned on the shower before she stepped inside and let the hot steaming water beat down on her body. Vontavis walked into the bedroom and heard the shower going. He really needed to clear some things up with Cassie so they were on the same page for once. But when he saw the outline of her body in the shower, his mind turned to other things. Vontavis quickly shed his sweatpants and walked in the bathroom, opening the shower door and stood up behind her. Vontavis, get out. Cassie, please, just shut up sometimes. I be trying not to disrespect, but sometimes you just talk too goddamn much. Is this how you dealt with KJ's daddy? Because I'm a whole breed of nigga. Brother. You're gonna have to learn to just shut up sometimes and follow my lead. And yes, sometimes just do what the fuck I say do. Oh, so that's like something like end quote. I guess that's just something their family says. When I lead you the wrong way, then you can say something. Until then, just let me be your man. I got you. Nigga, first of all, I think you're crazy. Cassie balked. Okay, I already told you before I was, but as long as I'm crazy about you and your son, what does it matter? Why is that a bad thing? Vontavious began to massage her breasts, fondling them with, oh, here we go, sex scene. Fondling with his long, thick fingers. Instinctively, Cassie leaned back onto his chest and reached behind to find his long, thick rod. Cassie could hear his sharp intake of breath when she wrapped her hand around his muscle. Vontavious turned around and captured her soft lips with his. Cassie kissed him back fiercely. If this was all he was going to give her out of himself, she wanted it, even if it was for the last time. Their lustful moan began to echo through the walls of the bathroom as they kissed. Vontavious turned Cassie around in front of the wall, then gently bent her over at the waist. Cassie bent over, reached between her legs, and spread her pussy lips. Oh, brother. Let me at least drink. Let me at least drink this. Vontavious lined his dick up at her entrance and proceeded to run the fat head of his dick over her slit. The water, coupled with her natural slickness, had him ready to bust before he was even inside of her. Cassie screamed out his name before he put them both out of the misery and slowly eased himself inside of her. She moaned as he started pumping faster. Vontavious reached down to her firm, dangling breasts while stroking in and out. He teased her nipples while massaging her breasts, feeling the warm water spraying on them as he continued to pound into her over and over. Cassie moaned loudly as she bounced her small ass back hard against him as he moved his hands to pull her hips tight to his pelvis as he shot his load into her tight pussy. They both stood there looking at each other, panting heavily before Vontavious cut the water and quickly scooped Cassie to her arms and stepped out the water. He gently laid her on the bed and laid her down next to her. Cassie felt like she was on cloud nine, but it would only be momentary because you're gonna leave again. He always left her. Cassie, I'm staying here with you until we leave, but I don't want anyone to know this is where I am. What do you mean, Weave, Vontavious? I already told you I'm not moving, Cassie sputtered. He was talking crazy again. Cassie, when I tell you to leave, you better be packed and ready to go, or you leaving all this shit behind. The doorbell rang and Vontavious looked over at Cassie suspiciously. His eyes narrowed before he jumped up for the bed, naked as a jaybird, and walked out the room. Cassie had him all the way fucked up. Plus, she was talking about going on dates and shit. She could get a nigga's throat cut if she wanted to. Oh my God, Vontavious, put some clothes on before answering my damn door. The ass is supposed to be at work for the day, so who the fuck is ringing the damn doorbell in the middle of the day anyway? Awfully funny you happen to be home today, Vontavious sneered. Cassie was trying to tie her robe around her waist when he swung open the door, dick swinging, and none other than Karon's mama, Aretha, was standing there. Her eyes were wide and her mouth was open. You're too old to be selling good Girl Scout cookies, love. Are you a Jehovah's Witness? We don't want any of those books. Baby, we're getting a no soliciting. I forgot how to say that word. Soliciting sign for this door, he said, looking back at Cassie. Aretha hadn't seen a dick that looked that good in ages. Jesus. No wonder this young hoe was to take her son's phone call. If she was over here laid up with this young buck, she wouldn't be accepting any damn calls from a jailbird either. Young man, I'm an elderly woman. Don't you think you need to put some clothes on and answer the door like that? Aretha finally managed to choke out, even though her eyes hadn't left his dick yet. Come on now, your pussy might have some miles on it, but you ain't elderly. So I know you seen dick before, baby. You know this, lady. Aretha tooted her lips, taking that as a compliment. Vontavious, get your ass upstairs. Oh my goodness, come in, Aretha. How did you even know where I stay at? Cassie said, rubbing her hand nervously through her hair. What kind of den of iniquity, iniquity do you have my grandchild over here living in, Cassie Pierce? Now it's bad enough you ain't even taking your man's care on call, but to find out you over here laid up with this young buck, fine as he may be, Aretha said, all the while walking around Cassie's place, noisily checking everything out. Cassie could see her little beady eyes landing on everything. Vontavious came back down the stair, this time with sweatpants and a t-shirt on. Now that I threw a little something on, how are you doing, man? I'm Vontavious, he said, extending his hand to the older hood rat. Wow, with a title. He thought Tremella was bad, but when you were a hood rat with no money, there was a vast difference. His own mama seemed almost classy compared to this woman. Aretha pursed her lips at the young, tatted up thug. Truth be told, he could have stood in front of her naked all damn day. She was enjoying the show, but she needed to handle some business with this whore Cassie. Aretha cleared her throat. Well, Cassie, look, I was coming over to let you know, since you can't seem to be bothered, Karen is supposed to be getting out in a few weeks. Oh damn, she fucking it up. Now, do you think he'd come over to stay with you once he's released? I'm trying to set my baby up for success once he gets out. Hell no. I figured if he could put my this address on his papers and I'm working on finding him a job, or at least someone who would lie and say Karen is working for them, I'm trying to make it so my baby can get out and it can get out on solid ground. This is the least you could do for Karen after the way you abandoned him. Don't think no one knows that you were all in on him. Don't think no one knows you were all in on him dealing drugs as long as it benefited you. You don't know what my baby is going through in there, Aretha said, her voice cracking. The room was silent. All eyes were on Aretha, and she was soaking up the attention. They busting their ass wide open in jail, huh? Vontavious asked, breaking the silence. Cassie wanted to fall through the floor. Who told him to add his 2 cents in? Look, Aretha, I realize you're trying to get Karen set up for when he gets out. I really wish you luck with all that, but it has nothing to do with me. I don't even understand why you even asked me when he could just stay with you, Cassie asked bewildered. I'm on the verge of eviction my damn self. You think I'm gonna tell those white folks at that and risk them not letting my son out? I talked to Bond Trees to see if he could go over there, but she shut that shit down right away. That damn Garon won't ever go against her either. Garon, right? That's his brother. So now here I am. Yeah, it's Garon, Teron, and Charon. I think it's Teron. So now here I am, scrambling around trying to make shit happen. Aretha said ruefully. I don't know why you're stressing. All they're gonna do is send his ass to a halfway house. He'll be alright, Fontaine said. Excuse me, this is family business. I would appreciate it if you would keep all your big dick comments to yourself. Wow. Aretha yelped. Fontavious sniggered. Oh my god. Sniggered loudly before he stood up and got in Aretha's face. This is my family over here trying to involve in your punk ass son's bullshit. My fiance, wow. And I don't give a fuck if your son didn't make him. That's my son. In 3 years, your son ain't sent a birthday card at the very least, and ain't none of his people dropped a dime to help her take care of him. Get your ass out of here with all this old bullshit. That nigga better not darken this motherfucking doorstep without calling. You better not bring your loudmouth ass around here again either, Monteva spat. Cassie jumped up to push him out of the way, out of now trembling Aretha's face. Aretha grabbed her neck, breathing heavy. You wait until I tell my son how you spoke to me. Wait until my son gets out of jail. You're gonna pay for disrespecting me, nigga. Aretha yelled, walking towards the door. Cassie apologized profusely. Aretha got on her nerves, but she didn't agree with Monteva speaking so disrespectfully to her. And since when she was his fiance and KJ his son, Monteva's cheese had most definitely slid all the way off his damn cracker. That's okay. I'm pretty sure that's another southern term. I never heard that in my life. Man, baby boys people are crazy as fuck. I ain't want none of their asses around. Y'all know more if I ain't here. That's a damn problem, Vontavious. You were never here. And since when am I your fiance? Cassie asked, hands on her hips. Vontavious and Cassie stood there glaring at another. Cassie, do you want to be with me? I can't trust you. Vontavious ran his head over his head in frustration. Annoyance was etched all over his face. Cassie, why do you keep saying that? What the fuck have I lied to you about? We talked that last time, Cassie. And I thought we were coming to an understanding that we wanted to build on something. Yeah, he disappeared again. It's like the third time he disappeared, bro. Like, literally. And not even saying anything, not even like answering calls and shit like that. Like, come on, bro. Right, then and then expecting like, like, oh, so because I'm just the person she needs in life, I'm gonna go ahead and just not talk to her for X amount of time. And when I go ahead and text her, she's gonna respond quickly and just be back coming to my life. Once again, once again, a lot of people usually think they the main characters of everyone's story. It's another case. As much as you be fuck her good, bro, you're still not the main character of her story. It's okay, it happens. Yes, I took off. I told you I had to handle some shit, but I'm handling things that have to do with us. I'm securing things for you, me and KJ. You act like I'm out here fucking everything moving. I'm not, baby. I promise you I'm not. I'm doing shit you don't even know about to be the best. I'm doing shit you don't even know about to be the best man I can be. Alright. And Cassie, right. And Cassie, I'm winging this shit like a motherfucker because I never been in a relationship before, Cap. But I'm trying to because it's you, and I ain't going through all this for no other woman but you. But what don't you trust? You trusted that nigga Caron, and what did he ever show you that made him so deserving of all your trust, but not me? Cassie stood there blinking back tears. She didn't want to just walk blindly into the unknown with Fontavis. She had a son to think about. She had to put his happiness and security before her own. Fontavis just wanted her to listen to everything he said, no questions asked, and she had to be smarter than that. She had to be able to go off on more than empty promises and occasional great things. You have all these demands, but you don't have any answer to my questions. It's all about you, huh? He said, don't you have work to do? I'm going upstairs, Cassie. You're giving me a headache. You're not leaving? Cassie asked, her voice trembling. Cassie, I told you I was here for you. I have plans for us, but if you don't want to take a chance with me, I can't force you. I want to start my life over with you and KJ, but I can't stay in Chicago and do that. I just can't. I feel like I'm drowning here. I'm fine. I'm ready to finally be happy too. Fontavious' cell phone rang and he pulled it out of his phone pocket. He looked at his cell phone and quickly answered as he walked past me going upstairs to my bedroom. What's up, girl? You good? I heard him say. See? There he is, talking to females on the phone, and he wants me to place me and my son's life in his hands? No way. Chapter 28. Sharmella sat in the office gleefully going over all the case files Cassie had signed off and sent over to her to submit to the state. Cassie had always diligently did exactly like she said, and this month had been no different. It was late Friday afternoon, and the main offices of Morningstar had closed hours ago. Mickey had even taken his black ass home talking about he had a date. Mickey really had the nerve to think these young hoes out here were really dating him. Using him more like it. All a dumb motherfucker like him could do is line these young hoes purses with cashes and gifts. Cash and gifts. She understood a person had needs, but hell, she had to get her nut too. But she'd be damned if she tricked off some money to any bitch she fucked with. Jamela looked through all the files and chose 6 client billing folders she picked out. Mickey didn't mind the little padding on the charges they submitted to the state. They had well over 100 clients, so a few extra charges were always flew under the radar. But Tremella was growing increasingly annoyed. Every month she felt like they was leaving thousands of dollars on the table. This month she decided to do a little experiment of her own. Tremella inflated the charges on 6 client accounts, grinning deviously the entire time. She already had the extra money spent in her mind. Fontavia sat at the table with a blank zip drive plugged into Cassie's work computer. They had a rough day and he still didn't know if he was getting through her. Whether she left with him or not, he knew once he left, Cassie was going to be in immediate danger. He loved Cassie even though he couldn't form the words to tell her. She was smart, but at the same time, she was gullible to a lot of things. The second Tremella had moved Cassie into the office a few years ago, he knew it wasn't for her book smarts. It was because Tremella thought Cassie was gullible and could be easily manipulated. His mother would never invite her hood rat cousin Tamika to work side by side with the office. She had motives, and Von Tavis intended to find out why. Maybe he could at least try to keep Cassie out of trouble in the event he had to leave the state without her. It was the least he could do for her and KJ. The last thing Cassie would ever want to do was see the side of Tremella she refused to acknowledge. Vontavious looked down at the computer and transferred at 99% when he heard the garage open. The second completed, he pulled the zip drive out and stuffed it in the pocket before KJ burst through the door screaming his name. Second he saw him. His stomach clenched at the thought of KJ's bio dad coming on the scene and fucking KJ up. He could already foresee the broken promises and disappointment the little boy would experience. Even Karon's mama was a raggedy piece of work. Karon jumped into his arms as... Whoa. Damn. So Karon pulled up and Vontavious was still at the house. Even Karon's mama was a raggedy piece of work. Karon jumped into his arms and they roughed house for a few minutes before he instructed the little boy to run into his room and grab the basketball so they could go outside and play. Cassie watched them together and her heart melted, but she knew the feeling would be fleeting. Vontavious never took into consideration she wasn't the only one who asked for him when he disappeared. Cassie had the few questions from an impressionable 3-year-old who thought the world of him. So it was a responsibility not only to protect her heart, but her son. Cassie was still shocked to find him in the house after this morning. She walked into the kitchen to prepare them a nice dinner. No matter how much he was given into her false... No matter how much he was giving her the false feeling of family, she knew the second wind blew, Vontavious would be gone again. Wait, what? Yeah, so there's a type over here. Karon jumped to his arms and they roughed house for a few minutes. Karon's supposed to be KJ. But, you know, I guess KJ is Karon Jr. Nah, I ain't. Fix this. Yeah, right? What the fuck? Saturday morning came, and the tension between Cassie and Vontavious was palpable to everyone but KJ. He was oblivious to the fact they were walking around speaking to each other in clip tones and eye rolls. Cassie flitted around the house, cleaning from top to bottom. You clean up like you're about to have company tonight, Vontavious asked sarcastically, watching her from the couch. KJ, bring your backpack down there so I can take you to Grandma's house, she called up the stairs. I just might have company. Don't make it seem like I never clean my house. I always clean my clean house, she sneered. Are you really just going to be sitting here? I do have a date tonight, and I don't want any problems of you when he comes to pick me up. Do what you feel like you need to do, Cassie. You ain't gonna do shit all night, but look at that square-ass nigga. And wish it were me, so enjoy your little date. I might be here when you get back. Then again, maybe I'll call someone to take her out on a date, too, Vontavious quipped. Cassie's lips pulled down to a frown as she screamed up the stairs for KJ so she could drop him off. Cassie cut her eye at Vontavious as she left her house. After she dropped KJ off, she planned to get her hair and nails done. She already had an outfit picked out. Fuck Vontavious. I'm going to be finally treated like a woman should be, wined and dined. Karon and Vontavious had fallen painfully short, and she was beyond ready to be treated like a grown woman she should. She exchanged texts and brief phone calls with Keenan all week long. Vontavious was not going to ruin this for her. Okay, Tamikia, I sent you the contact number and the address for this gig. It starts at 10. Now, to be clear, this is a big event tonight. It's $1,500 for okay for these few hours. I don't want you to be taking issue with me after it's all said and done. I want you to be satisfied, Tremella said salaciously. She was only offering the young hoe this moment to butter her up for things to come. First it was dancing, but she already saw the greater hunger in this whole eyes. Tremella intended to fast-track this bitch to the real money team. Sending her out to an elite roster of clientele who wanted to pay for her evening and pleasure. Tremella couldn't help but wonder how this young tramp pussy tasted. She liked to taste the goods before she put them out on the shelf for customers to spend good money on. Tremella hadn't tasted good pussy since she had got rid of Shanae. That bitch came talking about she wasn't gay and didn't want Tremella sucking up on the pussy no more. Wow. So that's why she got rid of her. Because she couldn't fuck no more. She had her all the way fucked up. When it came to Shanae's honeypot, Tremella was insatiable. Needless to say, she was feeling to have some young sweet nectar running down her throat. That sounds good to me. Is Jose going to be there? And who else going? Don't they mean Julio? Fuck is Jose? Well, this was a last minute gig, so I'm sending Shakita, Pranisha, and Jatori. gonna be plenty of niggas for y'all to juice, Tremella crowed. She was trying to hype this young hoe up because she really didn't give a fuck. She already arranged to be paid 10,000 to send a slew of hoes into Wolf's Den for the night. The money was supposed to arrive by the courier in the next hour. She gone ahead and decided to give Tamika 1,500. The rest of their ass was only getting 500 apiece. Tamika better be lucky she had a pretty face and a fat ass, or she would have cut her off completely after she questioned her about the money the last time. Well, Bryson, I'm happy I'm able to talk to you and negotiate a better deal for tonight's talent. Just call Tremella and cancel. But I'm gonna need that money the second I walk in the door tonight. Bryson confirmed the new arrangements and then ended their phone call. Tremella fucked up big time when she gave her that phone number. Tamika called it with the quickness. The last time she come through for Tremella and walked away with a measly 600 would be the first and last time her dyke ass would get on over her. 10 minutes later, her cell phone rang as she smirked when she saw Tremella's number. Bad news, baby girl. These sorry niggas just canceled the whole gig. Damn, really? I was already counting that money. Tamika lied, holding back a titter. The old bitch dumb as hell. Shit, you and me both, Tremella bellowed. Look, I'm gonna go ahead and give y'all $100 each when I see you, just for the inconvenience. They ended the phone call, and when Tamika hung up, she roared with laughter. This bitch got me fucked up. Tamika had brokered a deal with... Hold on. Tamika had brokered a deal with the nigga Bryson for half of what Tremella was charging him. She was going to call Jatori and bring her, and then she was going to give that dumb hoe $700. Shit was a little more Tremella that was going to give her, so she should be grateful. She immediately called Jatori. Hey girl, you see the gig got canceled. Shit, that money could have paid my daycare the month. Jatori whined before Tamika could barely greet her. Child, please, you ain't talking about shit. Get your bag ready and don't just say shit, you hear me? Not a motherfucking word. I'm gonna come pick you up in an hour. Ah shit, let's get this money, bitch. Jatori crowd. They kept in contact since the last gig they'd done together. Tremella thought she was cool. Dumb, but cool. Who cares, though? She was pretty and had a good body. Plus, she liked money just as much as she did, so it was a win-win friendship of sorts if you asked her. Tamika made her way into the house and walked into the walk-in closet and dug around. She pulled out the lockbox. She pressed it right after she arrived and locked it. She opened it up and smiled, looking down at the kilo of cocaine she skipped town with. I wonder if these niggas want a taste of this tonight. Tamikia's thought, calculating how much extra money she can make tonight, selling a little coke on the side. Chapter 29. A kilo of cocaine. Good question. I guess so, yeah. Cassie breezed into the house, fresh from getting her hair and nails done. She even gone by the liquor store and grabbed a nice expensive bottle of Moscato, oh brother, to sip on while she was in the tub relaxing before her date. Her place was nice and clean and she smiled, inhaling the fresh clean scent. Cassie made her way up to the bedroom and found Vatavius laid across her bed. She couldn't lie, he was a sight to behold. The man was propped up in the bed with nothing but a pair of basketball shorts on. Lean and muscular with tattoos popping on his glowing brown skin. Cassie wanted to scream. All she wanted to do was crawl into bed and wrap up with him. Her heart knew he was her man, but her head told her to listen to reason. Vontavious wasn't a long-term option. What got you so engrossed? Cassie asked. Vontavious was all into the laptop. Cassie had long ago figured out Vontavious was more complex than she initially thought. There had been times when he was over at the house where he would help with college-level assignments. Cassie had even tried to encourage him to attend college, but he just shook his head and laughed, which was yet another reason she knew she had to branch out and find another man who had the same life aspirations as herself. She wanted things in her life. It seemed like Vontavious, though he wasn't happy with how things were going in his life, he had to express, at least not to her. How was he going to change anything about his present situation? What good was leaving state going to do if he wasn't able to take care of himself? How were they supposed to live? She hadn't completed her degree or anything. Just looking into a few things, Vontavious said, glancing up at her quickly and tittering in laughter. Spent all that time getting that old titty time ass hairdo. I know this nigga a cornball now. You look like you're on the way to a damn prom. All that hairdo is missing some freeze curls from back in the day. Vontavious said, throwing his laptop to the side and howling in laughter. Cassie's lip pressed into a thin line, but she refused to give him the satisfaction of a snappy retort. Montavious was just showing his jealousy and wanted her to feel insecure about herself so she would go on a date. She simply caught her eye at him and walked over to the dresser mirror to look at her hair. Montavious was full of shit. Keenan was picking her up at 6 p.m. She had a little over an hour to get ready. Vontavious, why don't you go downstairs, at least until it's the time to him to get right here. Then I want you out of sight. Nah, I'm good right here, he said, closing his laptop. Cassie scowled, wow, and walked into the bathroom with her wine glass and bottle in hand. She slammed the door loudly and slipped into the hot, steaming bubble bath. Music was playing and her mood was mellowing. She raised a glass of wine to her lips. Her updo didn't really look old-fashioned, did it? And what the hell were freeze curls? Cassie thought before dismissing Montavious' nasty insult. Cassie closed her eyes. Yeah, is that not crazy? I mean, I guess it's a bubble bath, so it's not too hot, but even then. Seconds later, they flew open when Vontavious walked in. He looked down at her, relaxing in the tub, then shed his shorts and boxers. His dick sprang forward, thick and lengthy, and he wasn't even hard as he stepped into the tub behind Cassie. Vontavious reached for the bottle of wine and brought it to his lips, taking a long swig before he sat it back down. Cassie didn't know what to say, but she was going on this date. Vontavious reached around and slid her hands up to her waist until they cupped her breast, playing with her nipples until they were hard and aching to be in his mouth. Cassie breathed was hard and labored. So you're excited to go on your date, huh? Yeah, Cassie moaned. His hand roamed lower between Cassie's thighs and gently spread them apart. The warm water caressed her clit before her hands made it to a pussy and spread her lips apart. You really think this nigga's gonna treat you and your son better than me, Cassie? Vontavious ripped his video. This is some lame ass manipulation right here. His deep voice sent a shock down her spine as one of his hands rubbed and molded her breast on the other hand, as the other hand played in her pussy. Cassie's head fell back on Vontavious and her eyes closed as she bit her lip and her hips slowly bucked and ground into his thick fingers. She was right on the cusp of reaching her orgasmic peak. Cassie could feel his hard dick pressed to the middle of her back. Vontavious placed gentle, firm kisses along her neck. Are you still going out with that nigga, Cassie? I don't want to, but you're not leaving me under the choice, Vontavious. Cassie ground out. She was seconds away from coming. Then she felt the rug being pulled from underneath her. His hand was out of her pussy and she felt empty. He'd taken his hands from her breast and they still felt heating from his touch. All Cassie felt was water dripping all over her. She had a bonnet. See, that's why. She had a bonnet on her hair, but she had a bonnet on, but her hair was completely drenched. Vontavious stepped out of the tub, splashing water all over. Then he turned around and beat down, looking at Cassie through narrowed eyes. You trying to make me out to be such a sorry-ass man, Cassie, but what about you? You're more than willing to let me make you come, use me for dick, and then you're gonna go out with the next nigga? Nah, baby, let that nigga make you come, if he can. Then Vontavious splashed the water with the open palm of his hand, making sure her new hairdo was completely ruined. Wow, that's so ass. Right? Why are you doing all that, bruh? Cassie hadn't looked in the mirror, but she knew she resembled a drowned rat. You're lucky I don't snatch every one of those fake fingernails off your damn hands when you wanted your hands looking good for when they were wrapped around another man's dick. Vontavious growled, looking down at her as he wrapped the towel around his chiseled waist. Cassie was livid. Go home, Vontavious. I don't want you here anymore. You get on my damn nerves. You don't run me. Yeah, you don't run me, Cassie ranted on as she scrambled out of the tub. Her pussy was throbbing. She wanted to feel inside of her so bad, and she was embarrassed at how he just had her only to play with her. She could hear Vontavious in the other room laughing at her. Cassie glanced at the clock, but she didn't have time to argue. She was going to enjoy her day without a second thought to Vontavious' rude ass. She walked around the room and applied his favorite scented lotion. For another man. Okay, so that was on purpose. Cassie walked into the closet and pulled out the black bodycon dress she'd chosen to wear for the evening when she let out a shirt scheme. She flew out the closet with the cut-up dress in her hand. Alright, man. This is crazy. What do you, I mean, to be fair though, once again, he's definitely trying to, like save her and shit because who know what your mother would do to her and that, but bro, exactly. I ain't do shit to that cheap ass dress. Is it dry rotted? Von Tavis asked, barely look at her from the TV. Cassie's eyes buck and she ran back in the closet and find something else. To find something else. But as she flipped through all her dresses and skirts that were suitable for a night on the town, she discovered they were all cut with noticeable holes or missing sleeves. Buttons were gone, you name it. Cassie had nothing suitable to wear. She even flipped through to find some of her skinny dressier skinny jeans, thinking she would get away with something cute enough for a date, but they all been turned into shorts. What's going on in here? Vontavis said, standing at the door of the closet. She could clearly see he was smirking. I told you stop letting KJ play with the damn scissors. Look like he fucked up all your shit. Damn, Vontavis said, lying with ease. KJ was just gonna need to take one for the team. He'd buy him a new few toys for lying on him. He'd also kick out some money to replace Cassie's clothes, but if she really thought she was gonna fly for another man's right in his face, she really had him all the way fucked up. Fuck, Cassie wanted to cry. She knew Von Tavis had done all this to ruin her day, but she wasn't gonna let him. This nigga had literally left her only one plain black dress intact for her to wear on the date. She was either going to look like she was going to be to a church or a funeral. I'm still going. Cassie thought, rushing into the bathroom to give her face a nice dramatic beat. She smoothed her hair up into a nice sleek bun. I guess I'll just have to dress up this dress with some accessories. Cassie thought, rummaging through her jewelry to find her gold hoop earrings, gold cuff bracelet, and a necklace to put on. Cassie was finally calming down because even though Vontavis tried to sabotage her date, she still looked like $1,000,000. He was in there on that damn laptop again. Cassie put on some strappy black stiletto heels and a white crop jacket completed her look. It wasn't a look she had in mind, but she still looked damn good. The doorbell rang. Okay, I'm gone. How do I look? Like shit. Don't bring your ass back in this house after midnight either, or you won't be allowed back in. Whatever, bye, Cassie said before she breezed downstairs to have a date with a man she knew who knew how to treat a woman. Chapter 30. And again, it's only 3 chapters left. We're finishing this. Let's see how long chapter 30 is. 1, 2. Do that though. 2, 3, 4, 5. Chapter 31 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And chapter 32 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, finishing this. And my phone dropped again. This whole time I was muted. No! Oh, back to the start. Chapter 30. Girl, I'm hyped. I hope these niggas got plenty of money to spend tonight, Tori said, turning his flask up to her lips. I know, right, girl, but let's do these 3 little hours and be out. Tori, don't forget what I said. This is between us. You know Trimella booked this gig for us, but she was giving us crumbs. I called that nigga my damn self so we could get this money getting paid. Trimella getting paid and we out here shaking ass. Trimella got me fucked up, right? Like I said, I had this money spent, so you already know damn well I'm trying to get paid. My baby daddy locked up too. I need all the money I can get. I know people be thinking out here I'm out there, but on the real Tamikia, I just be trying to get all the hours I can and want to start to take care of my daughter. When Trimella came to me with all this little extra shit, I said, right now. Hell, I used to strip in a club, so this little bit of dancing is shit to me. I feel you good, Tamikia said, pulling up to the ramshackle house the party was at. According to Bryson, one of his niggas had just gotten home from jail. They were throwing a party and it needed a few women to spice it up. They both checked the makeup and pulled and tugged on the outfits. Neither of the women wore anything that actually covered their breasts, and all of their ass was out in the tiny pair of shirts they had on. They hobbled up the door and rang the bell. A few seconds later, the door swung open. Hey, is Bryson here? Tamikia asked all business. The man eyed the 2 scantily clad women lustfully before he called out for Bryson. Tamikia folded her arms across her chest and leaned against the doorway. Hey, what's up, girl? You're Tamikia, right? Okay, y'all look good enough. I know we do, Tamikia, yep. So, where can we talk privately to handle the money? Tamikia asked. She wanted to handle that privately and put it inside the car, in her car before he even went inside. Before she could lead him away for a private exchange, he opened up his goddamn mouth. Okay, so I know we agreed on $5,000. What? Jatori barked. You're paying us $5,000 for the gig? Bitch, why you tell me my cut was only $700? Jatori asked through narrowed eyes. Bitch, you got me all the way fucked up. It's one thing for Trimella to try and pull this shit. I figured as much of her, but bitch, who the fuck you think you're trying to get over on a bitch? I'm out. Bitch. Wow, bitch. Come let me get my shit out of your damn car so I can go the fuck home. Tori shouted, making her way down the driveway. She was already on her phone. Tamika teetered after her on the broken concrete. Her feet was already killing it in the cheap heels. Tori, come on now, girl. I was gonna tell you all about the money, but I have to make sure they were actually gonna pay it first. If I was really gonna lie, would it come without you to pick up the money? Come on, bitch, I need you. We already here. Let's get this money, girl, to make it press. Hoping the lie sounded convincing. This nigga Bryson had fucked up their entire plan. She wanted to do the money exchange in the car privately, well away from prying eyes, especially your Tories. Nah, I'm good, love. Enjoy. I don't trust your bitch ass. You can miss me all the bullshit, boo. You must have really thought you was Trimella, huh? Nah, baby, you got me fucked up. Wait until I tell her too, Jatori said, smirking at Tamikia. Jatori, come on now. You're gonna make me lose my goddamn job. Good. That way I don't have to cross paths with your fraud ass, Jatori spat, grabbing her bag out the car. Right in front of the house, she opened the bag and pulled out a pair of leggings and a loose t-shirt and put them on all out in the open. Then pulled out her cell phone and called herself an Uber. What about your daycare bill? Tamikia threw out, gasping at straws. Shit entities to make this bitch stay. Tori busted out laughing. You stupid bitch. My daughter goes to daycare at Morningstar. How much you think I have to pay? Little to nothing. And anything I do pay, Mickey ass handle that shit to me. What, you thought you were the only CNA riding Mickey's old ass dick? Oh, my rent paid too. Tori spat through her narrowed eyes. Bryce was looking down the driveway at the spectacle before him. Damn, they were one to hold down by the looks of things. Tamikia stomped back to the house. Where's your girl going? Fuck her. I'm bad enough to get this party started up by myself. Run me my money, nigga. Tamikia said, mad as hell, especially since she knew once your Tory ran her damn mouth, she was going to be out of a job come morning. Well, look, one hoe wasn't even a deal, so if it's just you, I got $1,000, period. What? That's not the deal. Shit, ever since you called my damn phone after I had plans all set with Tramella, mind you, it hasn't been the deal I wanted. I had it set up for 4 bitches shaking their ass for me and my niggas. Then you called talking about 2 for half the price. Then come from looks of it, you try to pull the fast one on your partner right here. Look at her damn Ubers right here. Now, here we are down to just you. Nah, girl, you could get this 1,000. Me and my boys can move this party to the strip club, he said hotly. Tamika was cringing inside, but she knew after tonight, a bitch like her was gonna need this little bit of money more than ever. She held her hand out to be blessed with the cash and walked down inside. Bryson showed her the bedroom for an adjoining bathroom where she could freshen up. The music was bumping, she had to admit. Future blared through the speakers, and Tamika pulled a personal vial of cocaine out of her purse so she could get her mind right for tonight's activities. Yatori settled into the Uber and looked around. Thank God she had a good driver tonight. Oh man. She quickly opened a bottle of water and grabbed a granola bar after exchanging princessy with the young college white dude. Then she grabbed her cell phone and scrolled to Tremela's name, initiated this phone call. Yeah, she could have let the shit go, but nah, this country hoe was gonna learn you do not want to fuck with Jatori Adams. Jatori, baby, what's going on? Are you okay? Not really, Auntie Mela. Look, I need to tell you about something, and I hope you're not too upset with me because I had no idea what's going on until I got on the spot. Jatori sat on the phone, giving Auntie the rundown for a good 30 minutes before she hung up the phone. Of course, she left off the parts where she was going with it at first, but Tamika would have to prove that shit, and she couldn't. As soon as she hung up, she called her Shanae. They had been cool since she started over at Morningstar, but about 2 weeks ago, Shanae had called to catch her up. She most definitely had to give her the most complete rundown of tonight's shenanigans. Tremella rose up in the bed after listening intently to the story the young hoe ran down to her, and by the time she was finished, she was seething mad and ready to fuck some shit up. She had to wonder why Bryson had called back so quick to cancel the dances coming over tonight and found that it was a hoe she'd been good to. Damn good. Oh, hell no. She had to make an example of this country hoe. She didn't give a fuck if Mickey was laying pipe to this bitch or not. Tremella immediately called Shakita and Pernisha. She told them to get the clothes ready. They were going to be making some money moves tonight. Then she hopped in the shower real quick just to wash the sleep off of herself and become more alert. Tremella reached under her bed and pulled out something she put on for a special occasion. Tonight was just that. She then pulled out her pair of wheat-colored Timberland boots, black True Religion jeans, and a long white tee. Tremella didn't have much in regard to breasts anyways, but she did have long nipples. So she threw on one of her compression t-shirts under her tee for a smooth look. She wrapped her golden dreads on top of her head, put on her real diamond studs, and took a look in her full-length mirror. Nigga, you fine as fuck, she said to herself. That nigga Von Tavis may have got his chocolate skin from his daddy, but he got the height, looks, and swag from me. His damn mama, Tremella or Tira, as she went on by the nights like this, thought to herself. Tremella or Tra? She walked into the closet and pulled the 9... Oh, wow, I knew it. She pulled the 9mm pistol from the lockbox and tucked it into the band of her jeans. Tamika was gonna learn she was the wrong nigga to fuck with. Chapter 31. Man. Of course, Tamika had to go in and fuck it all up. Cassie took a deep breath as she took Keenan's hand and stepped out the car in a restaurant. The drive over had been dry as hell as he played NPR radio the entire ride over. There was a time and place to talk politics, but Cassie just didn't feel like a first date was one of them. It became clear as hell to her that Keenan and her shared very different ideas of the world, and she didn't want to completely write him off. At least he actually was aware, which was more than she could say for Bontavis. She was still pissed he ruined her clothes, and the first thing in the morning he would be replacing it all. Keenan escorted her inside the building and made a big show with the waitstaff that he had reservations. Cassie was slightly embarrassed because he came off really rude and condescending to the staff for no reason at all. She got the distinct feeling he was showing off for her, and she couldn't figure out why. Cassie, I'd like you to try a really nice wine, Keenan said, looking over her. Once again, I wanted to tell you how lovely you look tonight. I will admit, I was a bit worried about what you might wear, he said, grinning to her. Really? Why? Kathy asked curiously. Well, oftentimes I found the majority of black women, oh, he fucked up, love to expose themselves too much. Tight figure hugging dresses above their knees showing cleavage. I just find it so distasteful and degrading. I know you're not one of those black women, he said, laughing so hard his assessment of black women he actually snorted. Cassie failed to see the humor and stared at him blankly as she took a sip of water. So I like you to try my favorite wine, a Shiraz. Oh no, Keenan, I'm sorry. That is actually my least favorite. I had it several times. Various brands are just too dry for my liking. Oh no, I insist you try again. You just haven't had the wrong run. Keenan, I just said I didn't like it. Please don't ask again. Cassie replied firmly as she took the menu from the waitress. My apologies, I didn't mean to pressure you, Keenan said, looking at her. But, please don't tell me you're one of those type of people who thinks cheap Moscato's weird wine, he said, leaning in. Cassie sat back in the chair and looked at Keenan, trying to calm herself so she could at least make it through the date. If only to piss Vontavious off for being right, she didn't want to be out with another man. She would have preferred to be sitting across from Vontavious, but he never once asked her out on a real date. She longed to do the simplest things with him, but he wasn't round enough for her. They had known each other 3 years, and he never even made an attempt. Actually, Moscato is a real wine, and they're expensive brands. Just like there's cheap ass Shiraz on the market too, Cassie replied sassily. Keenan looked shocked. Where is our waitress? I'm hungry, Cassie said, looking him dead in the square-ass mouth. Vontavious was right. This nigga looks nerdy as hell now that I see him again. The waitress finally arrived. Oh, brother. I'm going to be ordering for both myself and my lady friend here, he said, grinning hard. Cassie raised her eyebrow at him. Nigga, you do not know me. We've spoken a handful of times. What would make you presume what I like to... Damn. To know what I like to eat, Cassie thought. We'll have 2 salmon specials, he said, looking at the waitress. Excuse me, he may want 2 salmon specials, but I'm going to have an 8-ounce ribeye steak, asparagus, and a loaded baked potato. I like my steak cooked medium well, Cassie said as she handed the menu to the waitress, who was standing there looking embarrassed at Keenan. Sir, did you actually want 2 salmon special, or should I just put it for 1? Keenan loudly cleared his throat. Well, the lady wants what she wants. Make that 1 salmon special, he said. His voice was tight. Cassie could tell he was pissed, but he did it to himself. Keenan was taking his bicyclist to a level she never seen before or worse than Caron on Vontavious. So how are classes going for you, Cassie asked. Cassie breathed a sigh of relief. Jesus, please let the rest of this date be normal. Classes are going well. I admit I'm ready to be done, but I want to do well and go even further than a bachelor's degree, so I'm taking my time, Cassie replied. The waitress came by and sat the drinks down. Cassie held her glass gingerly. Why the hell did it seem like Keenan was watching her sip, like he was still upset she wasn't gonna drink his nasty wine? Honestly, this whole vibe was making her want to act ignorant as hell. Chew with her mouth open and slurp her drink loudly just to fuck with his ass because she felt like he was judging her. Contrary to what he may think he knew about her, Cassie had come up in a very good home and yeah, but Cassie has such a longing for fucking the ghetto. Just the entire opposite of her life. Cassie had come up in a very good home and been exposed to the finer things her entire life. She knew how to show class. Yes, she had gone off the rails when she met Caron, but she knew better. The conversation was boring. This entire date was a bust, and she highly doubted she would ever go at Keenan again. As if on cue, her phone buzzed. Please excuse me, Keenan. I need to check my phone. My son is with my parents, so I like to stay in contact. I hope you don't mind. Of course not. It just shows you're a wonderful mother, he said, toasting me with the glass. Cassie just smiled. That was certainly nice of him to say, but yeah, he was really corny. I don't like how now she's just trying to break down this nigga's character. That's so ass. Cassie pulled out her cell phone and saw that it wasn't a text from parents but from Vontavious. Her lips pulled into a frown, only because she knew when she got home she wouldn't be able to look him in the face and lie and say this was a fabulous day. She was going to tell him the truth, and he would clown. Cassie opened the text message and was greeted by a text that read, "Hurry up and bring your ass home from that nasty-ass dinner. I got dessert. Tat." It was accompanied by a picture of the most gorgeous black dick she ever seen. Rolling my eyes. Goddamn, Cassie bit her lower lip and squirmed in her seat thinking about how close he brought her to the edge a while ago. Visions of fucking shower crossed her mind. And here she was out with some man who she wasn't even remotely interested in. The man she finally wanted was finally in her bed, Cassie said loudly. Is everything okay, Keenan asked? Yeah, he's fine, Cassie replied. Vontavious is really, really fine. Wow. Vontavious smiled when he got a reply text back from Cassie on the date. He was pissed she'd gone, but he understood it. Vontavious was well aware that the way he moved was peculiar to her, and she had a vision in her mind of how things were supposed to go that he didn't fit. But when she was going to realize nothing in her life was going according to the schedule, yet look at her. Out there living and shit. Vontavious had just come by Jamila's house to grab anything else he felt like he wanted to take with her. He didn't want any further interaction with her, but hopefully she was asleep. When he raised the garage, he was shocked to find she wasn't even home. Even better, it would give him plenty of time to thoroughly go through Tremella's work laptop and paperwork. He was pretty sure he figured out what was going on with Cassie's position at work. He spent all afternoon going through her work files and noticed they had Cassie sign off on a lot of paperwork and hours to the state. Montavious just needed to know how this was a benefit to Morningstar. The only way would be if that Cassie Prime and was ready to receive funds from the state or any of the private insurance agencies they build. It just seemed too odd that in a short amount of time, someone who had no experience was signing off on hours. There was something to it. He just needed a little time to figure it all out. Montavious walked into his mother's room and grabbed the laptop out of her bag and began to transfer all the files to use for comparison. Her having any dirt on him to use against him with the law. He always made sure he was in the clear. That's good. Okay, it's not what I. He always made sure he was in the clear, and sometimes he handled things differently than he was ordered to. For instance, Cassie was tiptoeing around him, wondering he had thrown Shanae and her autistic son on the street like he had been ordered to. Of course, he hadn't done any cruel shit like that. That was just heartless. What he had done the first week he disappeared as was he left as soon as he left Cassie's house. He'd gone over to the rental and helped pack Shanae and her son up in with all of their belongings in a U-Haul and driven them to New Jersey, where she said she had a friend and helped her get settled in. He felt sorry for the girl and how she got calling up with his mom's bullshit. Montavious could admit he had seen a lot of shit Tremella did over the years, and a lot of times he didn't feel sorry for these young women. They started out genuinely needing help, but then they got greedy. But Shanae had even come to him several times asking how she could get away from Tremella. His mom seems obsessed with her, especially when she wanted to quit. Tremella had her hand in all kinds of bullshit, both legal and illegal. Prostitution, drugs, you name it. Montavious just had to pray to the Lord forgive him for some of the shit he done, which a lot of times he faked. Unless Tremella was right there watching him, that it is. If he had to get his hands dirty, he did. For a long time, Montavious felt like it was something he had to do because she was his mother, but fuck that. Mickey paid him a lot of money too, even though Tremella tried to act like it wasn't coming out of her pocket. It wasn't. It was coming out of her pocket anyways. So even though Cassie thought he was a thug, yeah, he was kind of, but Vontavious was more than that. He had an education, he had plenty of money in the bank, stocks, bonds, and properties all over. Nigga not a thug, what the fuck? The land and home he purchased in North Carolina for them to start over was just the beginning. He was a thug. He's not a thug no more. Opened the door for her to walk inside his mom's crazy house. He knew he wanted her to be his. Vontavious thought about moving out plenty of times, but why? Tremella talked a lot of shit, but why not save his money? All he had was himself. Now he finally felt like I had her. We need to start living. The zip drive transfer was complete, and Vontavious looked around a bit more, leaving his mom's room just as he found it, and walked down the hall to get the rest of his shit. Vontavious wondered where the hell she was tonight. It was the weekend. Was no telling what Tremella or Tra, as she sometimes was up to tonight. Tremella hated for me to see the Tra side of her. Vontavious don't know why though. When she was dressed like a nigga, she looked way more comfortable and relaxed than she did any other time. She really thought she was hiding herself for him, but he known his mom was different from the day she took him from his dad and brought Vontavious to live with her. She thought she was so uncomfortable admitting that she was a masculine lesbian woman. She only had him to around to show off and validate herself to other women. Maybe one of these days she could finally be herself and happy. Chapter 32. One more, and then we got the epilogue. Cassie sat at the table ready to win. Just to make sure, though. Just to make sure. Just to make sure. There we go. Okay. I was going to eternally scream if that actually was doing bad. I ain't gonna lie, when he got like the hit. Don't mind me. Cassie sat at the table ready to win. The date had been miserable. She was willing to take full responsibility for it. She was so busy trying to run away from what she thought was no good for her. Some water. She should have taken the time to really sit and talk with Vontavis, make him feel comfortable about speaking to her about the reservations she had about her instead of always jumping to conclusions. Instead, here she sat across the table with a bougie Negro who had the nerve to tell her that since she hadn't eaten or drank any of his suggestions, he felt it was only too far she paid for everything she ordered. Cassie was too through. While he sat there tallying up the menu, she pulled out her cell phone and sent Vontavis and called Vontavis. "What's up? Are you back home?" Vontavis said upon answering. "No, Vontavis, can you please pick me up?" Cassie whispered. She felt so defeated. After all the shit she talked and her felt like her she whoa. After all the shit she talked and her she was with another man needing to pick her up. She felt near tears. "Baby, why are you crying? The nigga ain't trying to put his hands on you, did he?" "Send me the address." Cassie quickly sent him a text, let him know where she got at, and she got up from the table. "Nigga, I'm not paying for shit. You asked me out and chose this place," Cassie said, walking away from the table. Vontavis demanded she stay on the line with him until he arrived to get her. Cassie stood outside and she just cried. Her life was in turmoil. She didn't know what to do. That's kind of crazy. Now, like, what the fuck? Her life is in turmoil? Nigga. She could feel Fontana was right about everything, but she was still scared. Cassie, her shoulder jumped as she turned around to find Keenan standing there, face scowling. Had I known Franklin Pierce's daughter was no more than a low-budget hood rat. Before Keenan could get the rest of the words out of his mouth, Vontavis was there and punched him in the face so hard. Keenan was laying on the ground holding his face while Vontavis issued a continuous kick to his body. Cassie was in complete shock before she let out a scream and grabbed Vontavis to pull him off. "Let's go, Vontavis," Cassie yelled. We were the only ones outside, but you could see a couple making their way outside. Vontavis gave him one final kick and rushed into the car and took off. We drove in silence. Every few minutes, Vontavis would look at me and cut his eyes. "Vontavis, please slow down," Cassie said softly. Eventually, he pulled over and parked, twisting to the seat to look at her. His eyes never left Cassie's face. He just looked at his fingers, tapping his knee in quiet contemplation. "Cassie, don't you ever, for as long as you live, call me crying. That nigga who you didn't have any business out here could have lost his fucking life tonight." "Because you called me crying. Do you know all the shit I imagined him doing to you on my way trying to get to you? Do you?" Vontavis shouted. "I'm sorry, Tab. Call your mom and check on KJ to make sure he's okay. Then cut that damn phone completely off so we can have this talk you've been wanting me to have. You want a nigga to spill his guts, I'm gonna give you what you want. Kinda. Just because you seem to need to hear this more than I do, so I'm gonna give you what you need, Cassie." Cassie quickly called her parents' house to check on KJ, then as he said and cut her off. "What do you want to tell me?" Vontavis almost laughed as he could just see whoa. Vontavis almost laughed as he could just Vontavis almost laughed as he could see just wanted him to talk. Yeah, what the fuck? Yo, that's, bro, come on. Just here, just because you're a woman and need to hear a man say it. I'm not dumb by any means, Cassie. I love you. I'm in love with you, and I've been a little bit since the day I laid my eyes on you. Your heart already knows that shit, though. Your head and your ears ain't to hear it. You don't hear me begging you for that type of shit from you because I already know, Cassie. You show me through actions you love me. You call yourself out on a few dates, but you know that shit wasn't going anywhere because it ain't me. Cassie crossed her arms and looked at him. "Well, that must have been nice for you to feel so loved all the time, Vontavis. Meanwhile, you left me in the dark," Cassie snapped. "Cassie, I am all about actions even when you don't see them. You think you live on in one of Tremella's properties. I own that shit. I let her go ahead and manage it, but I own the house. All the rent you paid is sitting in a bank account touched. I put a roof over my woman's and her son's head because you're my family. Along with the grocery money I give you every week, I just gone ahead and let you pay that other shit so you feel like you're doing something." They sat in the car and talked for over 2 hours where Vontavis let Cassie peel away every layer on him so she could finally know the man she fell in love with. "Cassie loves his crazy ass already. I don't know what we're going to call it when she knows everything about me," Vontavis thought. There you go. Chapter 33. Last chapter. What a book. At first, I thought it was just going to be complete asinine ghetto garbage, but it's definitely a mixture of like a lot of things. Of course, like there's the essence of like, of course, barbershop humor, just barbershop qualities and such as well. But it's also going ahead and like showing just how people are able to go ahead, like showing like the virtues of humanity and such, and of course bringing just bringing to light some of the I guess you could say quid pro quo and a majority of just like disgusting things happening behind the medical field and such. Of course, it doesn't happen all the time. It's a rare occasion, but it can happen. Scenarios like this are not just like completely fiction. Um, Shit like this happens all the time. Phoenicia and Sharkita had the niggas in the dog pound going crazy. Tramella didn't know what kind of show Tamikia was putting on before we walked in, but it must have been sad. It's a good thing they showed up too, because Tamikia, according to Bryson, had been already in the bathroom hiding a good 30 minutes, talking about she needed a break, according to Bryson. Just because Tamikia had messed up shit for the night, I was going to pay the girls out of my pocket. Trial was there to specifically teach this a young ho a lesson. Jose, I mean, that's supposed to be Julio. Jose, stand outside of this door and don't let anyone in until you hear it from me. I don't give a fuck what you think. You're here going on. I don't give a fuck what you think you hear going on, this motherfucker said, walking into the room and locking it for good measure. Tremella likely knocked on the bathroom door. Go away, I said I'm done. I'm gonna give this fucking money back. Tremikia yelled from the other side of the door. Tamikia, it's Tremella. Open the door. I heard there was an issue over here, so I came to see if you needed some help. Tremella said it softly as her deep voice would allow. This bitch better hurry up and open the door before I bust this motherfucker open, Tremella thought evilly. Tamika didn't give a fuck she was going to be on the outs with Tremella. Shamikia didn't give a fuck she was going to be, yeah, bro, was going to be on the outs with Tremella about even being over here. She just wanted to get the fuck out of here. These niggas were wild as hell, all trying to stick her fingers in her pussy and ass. She was scared by the end of the night. These niggas were going to try and run a train on her. No wonder Tremella called these kids the wolf dance and sent security with them. She hadn't thought about that when she started the gig from Tremella. Tamikia flung open the door, and a tall, light-skinned nigga with dreads on top of his head was standing there. She quickly scanned the room for Tremella. Bitch, I'm standing right here. Tamika eyes widened. What the fuck? Upon closer inspection, she saw it was Tremella. Damn, Tremella did look kinda good as a man, but that was not a here or there. Tamikia grabbed her purse from under the bed. Let's get the fuck out of here, Tamikia said, attempting to make her run to the door when she was yanked back by a weave and flung on the bed. In second, Tremella was on her, slapping fire out of her ass and punching her. Bitch, you think you gonna take food out my mouth? Is this what the fuck you thought you was gonna do? Tremella hissed in her ear as a large WNBA hands almost squeezed the life out of her. Tamika felt like she was on the brink of consciousness when she felt like her shirt was ripped off of her body and the shorts being pulled down her hips. Tremella stared down at the voluptuous young dot as if she actually had a dick, would it have been a brick hard? Nah, this young hoe was about to be hers. Mickey was just gonna have to take a seat back. Ain't like he cared. They shared women before. Spread those dick thighs for your new nigga girl, Tremella growled. Tamika was scared to fucking death. Tremella had turned into a real goddamn nigga. She was legit about to be raped by a woman. Tamika took 2 seconds too long to spread her legs, and Tremella fist connected with her face again. Bitch, you gonna learn quick to make this shit easy on yourself. Fuck with me, Tremella rasped, with trembling hands and trying to stop her tears. Tamika spread her legs. Her legs were shaking so bad, she had no choice but to hold them open for fear of being beaten. Tremella unzipped her jeans, and out popped what had to be a 13-inch long dick strap-on dildo. When I'm fucking you, you call me Tra, Tremella said, grabbing some lubricant out of her back pocket and squirting some over her dick. An hour later, Tamika sat on the edge of the bed crying. This bitch had beaten and raped her. Tremella kept trying to tell Tamika that she liked it and that she would get used to it eventually, but no, bitch, I'm not gay. Even if I was, I wouldn't want you, Tamika 9 screamed. This big bitch had literally pulled her jeans back up with a dildo, pretending to be like she was a damn man. Tamikia's stomach started to churn. She felt like she was going to throw up. Tremella was standing at the edge of the bed and had dumped all the contents of Tremikia's purse, including the kilo of cocaine she thought she was going to attempt to sell tonight, before she realized the crowd was way too rowdy for that. Tremella cackled like she hit the jackpot while she pocketed every last dollar and coin Tremikia had in the purse, along with a kilo of cocaine and a personal vial. Tremella was leaving her with nothing. Tremella had money and drugs in every pocket. All of a sudden, they could hear loud screaming from outside the door and the sound of running. The police busted in with dogs surrounding us. Tamikia was still naked but threw her hands up. "Please help me, I've just been raped," she cried. That's it. Damn. So I guess everyone got busted. Epilogue, 1 year later. Cassie, Vontavious, I'm still calling him Vontavious, I'm still fucking up his name. Cassie, Vontavious, and KJ. Life for Cassie and Vontavious was good. Cassie was finally sitting down and becoming accustomed to southern living. Things with her and Vontavious were exactly how she always thought it would be once he stayed and settled down. Exactly 1 week after Vontavious had professed his love for her, he finally took her on a date. He'd flown her to Las Vegas and they gotten married. Cassie had always thought she wanted a big Randy surrounded by a lot of people she really didn't care about, but it was just perfect. Her and her man, and she loved exchanging vows to love one another forever. That's all she needed. Vontavious insisted they not stop their lives due to all the madness that had gone on with Tremella's prostitution ring being discovered. She might have had got a shorter jail sentence for it had it not been the fact she just raped Tamikia and had been arrested with a kilo of cocaine on her. That was one smoking gun. The other was a dildo coated in Tamikia's DNA. Her new mother-in-law was sentenced to 13 years in prison when they were done adding up all the charges. None of it mattered to Vontavious. He stated that he was just happy she got busted on those charges before the state became aware she was scamming them and affected Cassie. Vontavious had finally figured out why Tremella was so keen on having Cassie taken over things. After Vontavious spoke to Mickey and revealed to him how he felt about Cassie and that he wanted to marry her, Mickey closed out the bank account that contained thousands of dollars that would have been led back to Cassie had Tremella been caught. All of that was behind him now. Cassie was finishing up her nursing degree like she wanted to 3 years ago before leaving Chicago. Vontavious had arranged to meet with Caron, who was still locked up at the time, and Caron had basically sold his son for $10,000. Okay, so essentially, like, yeah, he met with Caron. He was like, yo, listen, alright, so you're just done with your life, and you're done out of here with life. You don't have to, KG's not yours or anything like that. Here's 10K. Just stay out of our lives entirely, and he accepted it. Cassie was happy and sad about that. Happy they could start their lives with no interruptions from Caron and his family, but sad that Caron thought so little on the son that he would sign away his rights to him. What the fuck? Come on now, you're just having like that internal trauma or internal like battle with yourself and everything. You don't want that nigga at all near him, but you feel like like you want him to fight for something that's not gonna happen. But sad that Kara thought so little of his only child that he would sign away his rights to him. It didn't matter. Vontavious was the only father KJ had ever known anyways. Was wonderful. Cassie's parents had just left from visit a week ago, and she was shocked to discover how well parents got along with Vontavious. He was like a whole new person once we left Chicago. He wasn't afraid to show people how smart and intelligent he was. Where Cassie had once thought he was a little weird, he wasn't. He just wanted a different life for himself, and he finally had it. With her, their son, and the baby girl they were expecting in 5 months. Wow, another baby too. Wow. Tremella sat in the cell, scrolling Facebook on her illegal cell phone she had smuggled in. Tremella still had a team of loyal ones on the outside always looking for her. Chiquita and Prenicia was holding things down at Morningstar in her absence. They claimed she was going to be locked up for 13 years, but Tremella had every intention of being out in 5 years of good behavior. The second she got out, she was going to find that bitch Tamiki and kill that bitch. Auntie? Hey niece, do you think I could get a pack of noodles from you? Ain't none of my people came through and put no money on my books, young incarcerated hoe said. Tremella put her cell phone down and walked over to the steel bars and silently appraised the young woman. Ain't I your auntie? Ain't we family, she asked. Yes, we are, auntie. Tremella was born with the gift of gab. She knew how to talk to people. The second she went inside, she was making connections. Women gravitated towards her. After a year, she already had a following of young bitches who would kill for her. Jamila grabbed a pack of chicken-flavored ramen for his stash just to do the bars. His cell was damn near a commissary. Mickey kept her with the max on her books all the times. He even made the drive to see her with some of the girls when they came. Now you know, ain't nothing in life free, right? Right? I know, Auntie, I got you. Tremella winked and went back to looking at Facebook. It was now her only connection to Vontavious. He looked good. Tremella didn't know about him marrying dumbass Cassie, but she was a pretty girl and Tremella could see the love in her eyes for her only son and the pictures she was constantly posting. Tremella's heart seemed to tighten every time she looked at her child. She'd taken him from his dad when he was 16 years old, and Tremella didn't think she ever seen her son so genuinely happily. He moved his little family down there with his dad. He never wrote to her. Maybe one day his heart would soften towards her, she hoped. Shanae. Karma is a motherfucking bitch. See, you always needed to treat people good. You never know who talked to who. When Jatori first started working at Morning Star, it was me who trained her on the show and the ropes, so it became fast friends. So much so that once Vontavious' fine, cool ass got my son, and I settled in New Jersey, I contacted her. Oh, what a glorious day that was. Jatori spilled all the tea. All it took was a little finesse for me to find the exact location of where she had left Tamikia. I hurried up and called the police and reported her prostitution ring. I gave them so many details about her, I guess they had to send a team out. Shamela has sent me to that location countless times for parties. The icing on the entire fucking cake was extra years, and she got tacked on with the drug charges. Ain't God good? Won't he do it? That's exactly where her raping manly ass needs to be for the rest of her goddamn life, if you ask me. All the shit she forced me to do, making me sleep with her, and then when I wouldn't anymore, beating me and throwing me and my child out in the stream. Thank God for Vontavious. That bitch Tremella was exactly where the fuck she needed to be, locked up like an animal. And now there's bonus content. About Quan Mills. Quan Mills is the profound and prolific writer from the sizzling streets of Miami, Florida, now residing between Chicago, Illinois, and Los Angeles, California. He's known for his gritty, graphic, and gut-punchy urban tales that depict the real and rawness of black urban life. His deeply detailed and visual storytelling talent gives readers a view of the roller coaster of emotions that may endure when trying to climb their way out of the dark struggles in the inner city. He's the author of the Gutter Hole Dreams and Crack Hole Dreams series. Gutter Hole Dreams and Crack Hole Dream series. Just that might be the next book. Is that it? Yep. We're really done. Wow. We are officially done with CNA Dots. Alright. Let's go ahead and give the I don't know, like a little review. Me personally, the book, like I said, as I already gave, the book itself was alright. It wasn't anything too crazy. It was, like exactly as I said, it was an urban tale book. And you know, usually the thing is, we always go ahead and have those, and we had those, especially when we was growing up, especially with our community. Um, we had various urban tales and such. Sometimes those urban tales definitely should have never been in a fucking children's classrooms and shit like that. But it was to the aspect of understanding this is what happens in the majority of our life. So it was, I guess kind of enjoyable to go in and see it. But then again, I kind of strayed away from those books in general because why? I don't want to. It's like it's just like it's depressing. It's just a lot of just always the same stereotypes and such. And it's like I remember the new Tyler Perry movie coming out, and people are just rightfully so are getting tired of like all the black negativity and such that we have to go and see in these films and such. But of course, the other side will always go in and say like, oh, but these stories are still experience and everything. We need to go and see it. Like, do we? Do we really need to go and see a negative story that we could literally just go ahead and hear about from one of our neighbors and such? And we need to see it represented in the media. It's like, what is it? It's black suffrage. It's literally black suffrage movies. And it's just always annoying because I watch, of course, me and Beloved, we watch a lot of Toon movies as well. And I remember, I think it was like for March or so. I think March, I watched 24 hours of Tubi movies. And like the stories themselves, and it's not to the point where like it's corny. Like regardless of all that, low budget films and such, I don't care about that. Sometimes some low budget films are really good, but it's just always like the same old unfortunate stereotype that we just continue to reach into ourselves. This is why I really want to go ahead and try to see like black films that like black films and black media in general that just go ahead and just have a sense of positivity or is something entirely different and such. And it just doesn't have to be like, just straight up comedy, but it could just be like feel good movies and everything. But of course, fortunately, the biggest thing is that people don't care to read those. People don't care to watch those and shit. Suffrage is what sells. Unfortunately, black exploitation is what sells. Unfortunately. It's really a shame. It really is. But once again, going back to the list, no, it was really good. It was really good. At first, I honestly thought it was gonna be like some crazy ass. It's just gonna be endless sex scenes and shit like that. There was only maybe like what, maybe 5 to 6 sex scenes and everything, and only maybe like two of them were like extremely detailed and shit. It was good. I thought it was gonna be a point where it's like it would be like, damn, like I'm just reading porn at this point. I'm just reading the fucking dark fantasy erotica, which is porn by the way. Fight me. Uh, but I don't know. The conclusion really did seem abrupt. However, it did express more of itself in the epilogue. However, I mean, I guess it really did like wrap itself nicely too. Yeah, it had a good, nice. I guess the ending was good. It was it had a finality. It was a good conclusion, and it was a happy ending as well. Because me personally, I enjoy when there's not really too much happy endings and everything. Either it could be ambiguous or it could just be like the villain has won or the antagonists have won. Because I'm just always used to my life just seeing all these happy stories and such. So I want to go and see something that could just be possibly negative. But sometimes it's just some stories and movies that I really just want to end positive, because like the movie's just been negative the whole time, and the book has been negative for the most of the time. But me personally, I enjoy this ending. I enjoy the positive note that it ended on. Everyone got their happy ending for the most part and such. We can only hope that Tamikia does not get killed and she probably just moves away and shit. And what else? Um, I honestly thought that she was gonna go kill Tamikia though, but you know, of course, what happened was that the ring came in or the police came in and the prostitution ring got busted and such. Um, was there any characters that they left out at the end? Nope. Everyone honestly got their own ending and such. So yeah. Well, the important one, anyways. Um, I'm gonna say something. What was it? Yeah. Damn, I really forgot. But would I recommend this book to other people? Honestly, I would. As much as you hear Quan Mill's name, and you just instantly go in and think about like, oh, he's the author of all those bullshit, ratchet ass AI books, and just the degeneracy and shit like that. But sure, and I'm pretty sure, like those books have their own moments and everything too. But I'm 100% sure there's also still that nuance that comes with it as well. And remember, this is coming from the person who has not read books for a long time. And no, manga does not count as books. Those are picture books. You can read them, but those are just like it's the equivalent of a fucking picture book. Now, a light novel, I ain't reading no fucking light novel. I'm sorry. No, isn't this like a light novel? No, it's just anime shit. I'm just not reading any weeby fucking light novel books. But yeah, it was definitely an enjoyable read. Like I said, I'll recommend it to other people, and I would definitely have to go and see what's the next books we should go ahead and be reading. Most likely maybe a few days or a week after this, I'll probably go ahead and just have a suggestion poll, like what book I'm going to be suggesting for the most part. until people just recently giving me more ideas and such in the in the hippies part of the server. Whoa, I don't know why I keep burping. But yeah, we are done here. As always, I want to thank everyone for coming out here, regardless or not. Regardless if he was lurking or not, definitely means a lot to me. I know we're gonna have to retire the glasses. The glasses are gonna, glasses just gonna not be worn. Maybe I might wear the glasses. Maybe not. Um, but of course, once again, I want to go ahead and thank everyone for being out here, regardless if you was lurking or not. I never thought that me streaming would be the sole reason that I get back into books, but here I am reading. And of course, if you ever want to go ahead and follow me on both my YouTubes, go ahead and do so. If you ever want to go ahead and follow me on my socials, of course, always do so as well. I'll definitely be uploading like some bits and pieces of the shit to TikTok and else, so go ahead and keep an eye on that. Um, if you always want to watch the rest of the GMG, go ahead too. And also, if you want to join the Discord, we're always here. And again, if you want to go ahead and throw in a suggestion or participate in the poll, yeah, you definitely should join the Discord. And yeah, well, that be it. 3 hours long, 12:50. Okay. Good night, everyone, or good morning, whatever you want to call it.